What's up, my good people of the internet, hanging out here where sports meets that thing called life. DT here with you from Hooters I Drive. Live from I Drive here at Hooters I Drive in Orlando, Florida, 8801 International Drive in Orlando, wearing that Dolphins cap you can see here as we had our Dolphin Dive air earlier today at our typical normal scheduled time at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. So even though we changed our schedule this week to go from 9 to 11 and instead be noon to 2 because we're here at Hooters I Drive Orlando and we're here for your lunch break. And we thank everybody that's come in so far and everybody that will trickle in as we do the show from noon to 2 p.m. So even though we changed the time, we stayed true to the Dolphin time, which is every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. So make sure you go back to facebook.com or youtube.com, both /wakeupcallDT. That's youtube.com /wakeupcallDT and facebook.com/wakeupcallDT to check out our Dolphin Dive featuring, for the first time ever, Tom Bonus, longtime Lemoyne Dolphins men's soccer head coach, who had a really fantastic and unique story to tell as he brought his team on a preseason retreat ahead of this men's soccer season. So really excited about that, and there's a doubleheader going on at Lemoyne tomorrow for August 25th. So perfect timing that we were able to bring that to you, and I definitely appreciate that. So a lot of great stuff coming up here from iDrive here on 8801 International Drive in Orlando, Florida. We are minutes from SeaWorld, minutes from Universal Studios and Walt Disney World. I want to thank my guy AJ Francis. He was supposed to be here sitting right next to me today. He couldn't make it as the WWE has called him and changed his schedule, and we found out last minute that schedule change was going to send him on the road a little bit sooner. So we thought we could get it in right before Thursday, and unfortunately we weren't able to, but we will have AJ Francis on the show very soon, aka Top Dollar. So for those of you excited to see him, we will have him coming up here soon, and we thank him for trying to make it work in this crazy WWE schedule that he definitely has. So with that being said, today we are going to I'm going to be bringing you my fantasy quarterbacks, fantasy running backs, fantasy wide receivers, and fantasy tight end rankings. And it's a very special day and very notable why I'm doing it today. I'm bringing you the fantasy rankings today because today marks 12 years of our Wake Up Call Orlando League, our Wake Up Call Fantasy Football League here in Orlando, Florida. We draft at Hooters, and we'll be here tonight at Hooters I Drive at 7 p.m. So 7 hours from the jump off of this show, we're going to be back here. Kind of ironic that it's 12:07 right now, but at 7 p.m. today, we're going to be back here drafting with some fantastic people that I appreciate so very much. Not the first time somebody offered me a drink this morning, so thanks, Farron. But definitely appreciate having you here where sports meets that thing called life. We have a great time here at Hooters I Drive Orlando. The Hooters Girls are fantastic. You've heard from some of them here this week. You can go back and watch my show with Aaron Hackett where we featured Jordan, and you can go back and watch my show with Odyssey Jones, a.k.a. Amari Palmer, where we featured Sydney. And we'll have a couple of the Hooters Girls coming on with me today, get some bonus coverage of them, so we'll be hanging out and having some fun with that. But like I said, we're going to cover the entire NFL. We're going to run the gamut here. So if you are a fan of any one of the 32 NFL teams, you will not be disappointed by the fact that your team will be mentioned today from Hooters I Drive in Orlando on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora during Hooters Week. So like I said, today marks 12 years that we're drafting in our Fantasy Football League. I want to shout out Joey and Nick. I also want to give a big time shout out to Eric, to Mark, to Stefan for all being a part of it, to Rick and Jason. So much love to everybody out there. Thank you for joining our Fantasy Football League years and years ago. And thank you to some of our new faces as well as we get ready for fantasy football season tonight as we draft from Hooters. So like I said, I got my rankings here. My sheet is ready to go. Fantasy quarterback rankings, running back rankings, wide receiver rankings, and tight end rankings. These are my rankings based on what I thought. Some of them might be similar to sheets you've seen. Some of them might be drastically different. And this is my sheet. It's what I'm using. It's what I got. I am my own cheat sheet for this upcoming fantasy football draft here at Hooters tonight on iDrive. So we're going to be going through fantasy football, talking about all 32 NFL teams from the NFC to the AFC and every single division within that. So very happy to have you here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You're watching and listening on YouTube.com, Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT. You're on Facebook.com /LiveNowDT, and you're listening worldwide on MixLR.com /WakeUpCallDT and on WakeUpCallDT.com. So however you're tuning into the broadcast this morning, I want to give you my very proud thank you. Appreciate you so very much for being a part of the show where sports meets that thing called life. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You could definitely hear the difference when it comes to this broadcast, and I can't thank you enough for tuning in and being a part of the show. It means the absolute world to me to be sharing this opportunity with all of you and with the Hooters Girls and with the fantastic people at Hooters, Tim Baum, Jeff Spraker. A big shout out to Farron, to all the Hooters Girls that have joined me, that will join me, and that will join me in the future. I want to give them all a shout out because they've been fantastic. They treat me like a king here, and the girls have always been wonderful. So I do want to appreciate them, and I love that we get to tell their stories because they really don't get to do that, right? So I love the fact that we get to tell their stories, we get to know who they are, what they're about, what they stand for, and all of that. So we'll be having some fun with the Hooters Girls today like we always do during Hooters Week, and I'm definitely looking forward to you getting to see some people maybe you've seen before, and maybe getting to know somebody that you haven't got to know. So whatever we get to do here, we always bring it to you on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora through all of our channels. Once the shows go live, you can catch them in YouTube, and the audio of them will also be added shortly after to Amazon Music, as well as Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes and Apple Podcasts, MixLR, Player FM, Podbean, Podvine, Spotify, Stitcher, and TuneIn. All you have to do on any one of these outlets is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. So however you're connecting with the show, make sure that you show us some love, connect with us today, and let us know what you're doing. Let us know where you're from. Let us know what's going on. So we definitely appreciate you being out here with us where sports meets that thing called life. So big time shout out to all my awesome people that have made this week incredible. Like I said, to Tim, to Farron, big thanks to Jeff as well for making everything run very, very smoothly here. And I also want to give a big time shout out to all of the Hooters Girls and everybody working behind the scenes to bring this broadcast to life. So I can't thank you enough for doing this, and I want to thank my awesome guests that have been with me, Aaron Hackett and Odyssey Jones, a.k.a. Amari Palmer, and of course the guests that we have to come, Jason Lucas, who will be with us tomorrow, and then we'll be joined on Friday by Nate Trout. So very excited to have Jason and Nate back and reprising their time here. They were with me last year for Hooters Week, bringing in the college and NFL. Let's hop right into it, and it's time for us to give you those rankings and let you know how I'm feeling about this upcoming fantasy football season with so much going on here and getting ready for that. So let's hop right into it and take a look at my quarterbacks. So, and we're going to break this down as we go. Feel free to give your thoughts as well. You know, feel free to agree or disagree or whatever you fancy, whatever you'd like to do. You're always welcome to give your thoughts here on the broadcast. I always ask you to do it respectfully. And what I mean by that is, please refrain from personal attacks and refrain from, being mean to each other is what I would say. Personal attacks and all that stuff, and vulgarity. I'd ask you to stay away from that. So beyond that, you are welcome to say what you want to say, agree with me, disagree with me, tell me your thoughts, and let me know what's going on in your neck of the woods, because I'd love to hear from you and love to hear what you have to say about what's coming up in this year's fantasy. So, quarterback-wise, we're going to get things started. My number one overall quarterback was almost my number one overall quarterback last season, and my number one overall quarterback this time around in my fantasy football rankings for the 2022-23 season is none other than, and you'll be very excited here, you'll be excited, my fans out there that I know love those Bills, Josh Allen is my number one choice. Josh Allen is the number one, not number one overall if you're drafting in fantasy, that's Jonathan Taylor for me, but number one quarterback off the board. I would tell you to go with Mr. Josh Allen. And Josh Allen, listen, he has been incredible. He's been awesome. He's been amazing. Whatever words you want to use to describe him, use it to describe him, and it's fitting. So I give him a lot of credit for the work that he's done, trying to bring some more talent in by bringing in O.J. Howard. Gabe Davis, who I, had been touting for a while, has started to show up and show himself. So my hope is that Josh Allen will continue to improve and that Gabe Davis will continue. And I think that puts everybody in good footing. And you bring in a running back that I think is going to end up taking the majority of the carries, a guy that I covered, and you can watch my conversation with him on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage, and that's James Cook, when he was en route in the college football playoff to winning a national championship. I was able to catch up with him, and so you can catch up with him and hear what he has to say about what's going on in what was going on in his world. But I think, ultimately, prognosticating this side of things, I think that he's got a good shot of taking over here. He might be better than Singletary and Moss put together. And I know some fans are going, well, Dan, that's not saying a lot. I know some of you are very upset. But, in all honesty here, I think that there's a lot of good to be had with the Bills this year. And I think Josh Allen, and they play in the first game of the season, which could be the last game of the season, as I potentially, have thrown out there to you as a prediction here, that the Bills and the Rams could be the final game we see this season. It's the first game we're going to see this season, and it's going to be on September 8th. So Josh Allen is my number one overall. And like I said, they've only brought in more talent. And if we take a look at things and the way that they shook out last year for Josh Allen out of Wyoming, and mind you, Wyoming, Eric Dungy almost went there. So if Eric Dungy didn't come to Syracuse, there was a chance he was going to go to Wyoming and try and fight with Josh Allen for the job. And so you look what Josh Allen has become today. You wonder, what would have happened in that situation. So Josh Allen, taking a look at him by the numbers last year, he was able to finish with over 4,400 yards. He had over 63% completion percentage, and he totaled 36 touchdowns to 15 interceptions. So a big-time shout-out to Josh Allen as he has worked to get these Bills in a prime footing right now, and I give him a lot of credit for the work that he's put forward. He was drafted back in 2018, believe it or not, and he played in 12 games then. Then he played the entire regular season in 2019 and 2020, and when we added an extra game last year to get to 17, he played in all of those games last year. He's been over 3,000 yards in every season where he's played at least 16 games. He was over 4,000 the last two seasons, and in the last two seasons, he has totaled 73 touchdowns to 25 interceptions. So shout out to Josh Allen for that. Please also keep in mind that he has carried the ball over 100 times in each of the last three seasons where he's played a full regular season, amounting over 400 yards each season, having his best season last year on the ground, where he had 122 carries, the most he's ever had in the NFL in a season, most yards, 763, and best average with 6.3 and 6 touchdowns. He had 8 touchdowns as a rookie on the ground, 9 as a sophomore in the NFL, 8 last season, and 6 this past season. So he has had 31 rushing touchdowns in 4 seasons, which for those of you playing the home game is about 8 a season. So a big-time congratulations to Josh Allen, who can run the ball. A lot of people paid attention to his arm coming out of college. I know that I did. And then I went to that game where he played up against my Jaguars and had, I think, 8 carries for 100 yards at home in that game where Leonard Fournette was trying to punch through somebody's helmet, which is always the smart thing to do when you use your hands for a living, and most people do. So that was fun and exciting and strange, but that's what he did. So with that being said, Josh Allen's number one. Number two is Pat Mahomes. Now, I had a little bit of a thought about this. I went back and forth with it, but I'm going to give it to Patty Mahomes. And listen, I know that he doesn't have Tyreek Hill anymore. He brings in Sky Moore. I'm not trying to say that Sky Moore is just like Tyreek Hill. I'm trying to say that Sky Moore is one of those guys that came from Western Michigan with the Broncos, and Tim Lester, a good friend of mine, who was coaching him up out there. And to me, there's a lot to be said about what he can do and what he can bring to the game, Sky Moore. So I'm hoping that he can be multiple. I'm hoping that he's one of those guys that can just catch it and run and get after it. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what he can do. And obviously you still have Travis Kelce. Clyde Edwards-Helaire might be losing his job now. He's not even in my top 22 running backs that we'll be giving you this morning. So kind of sad to see what's happened with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who's still in his rookie contract. But things just haven't been shaken out for him, unfortunately. And we are where we are. He is where he is currently right now. And it's a great unfortunate, but it's the situation that we're currently in right now with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So Pat Mahomes is my number 2. I think he still has enough weapons. I mean, this guy can throw right-handed, left-handed, on balance, off balance. He can run with the ball. So I think it's hard to keep him out of this. Patty Mahomes was my number 1 overall last year when I considered putting Josh Allen as number 1 overall. And now I think Josh Allen has maybe a little bit more wiggle room since Tyreek Hill isn't there for the Chiefs, but that doesn't take away from the fact that Patty Mahomes is super talented, and I think that he still has enough to, get it going and get it rocking and rolling. So, I think there's other quarterbacks that are going to be on my list today that I think have lost substantially more, and that's why they dipped on my list. But beyond that, I think that there's some good things to talk about here with Patty Mahomes. Number 3 on my list for fantasy quarterback rankings is going to be Kyler Murray. And Kyler Murray on this list for me at this point, I mean, Kyler Murray, listen, he has DeAndre Hopkins at some point, and he just got Marquise Hollywood Brown. You have James Conner in the backfield who can catch and run, and wasn't given enough credit at Pittsburgh, wasn't given enough credit when he became a Steeler, wasn't given enough credit when he came over to the Cardinals on a 1-year, $1 million deal last year. So I can anticipate him not getting enough credit still, and he is a weapon for Kyler Murray, who threw for almost 3,800 yards last season and had 24 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. He doesn't have Christian Kirk anymore, who never really caught on in Arizona. I thought that the torch was going to go from Larry Fitzgerald to Christian Kirk. It never ended up going in that direction, and so that's definitely unfortunate that that's how things ended up happening. But in the same respect, they bring in Marquise Hollywood Brown and, to help out with DeAndre Hopkins and whatnot. So I like Kyler Murray. They also brought in Trey McBride as a tight end, as a rookie tight end, who's one of the good ones out there and arguably maybe the best one to come out of this draft. So I think Kyler Murray's got enough weapons. Number 4 on my list, and he definitely makes my top 5, is Joe Burrow. The man in a season and a half, because remember, he didn't play a full season as a rookie. He got hurt later on in the season. So I say that he's only a year and a half into the NFL as far as playing the game, and he went to the Super Bowl. I mean, this man brought it, and he definitely had himself a great start to the season, and I'm proud of the work that he's done. And, I mean, I think, listen, he's got T. Higgins, he's got Jamar Chase, who's one of the top 3 wide receivers in my fantasy football rankings this year. There's so much to be said about Joe Burrow and his weapons. He has Joe Mixon, who can catch and run. You got T. Higgins, like I said, and you have Jamar Chase, who he had when he was in college. And, that connection between the two of them is going to help them as well, I believe. So I think there's, a lot to be said about that, and I think there's a lot of good to be had about this. So I definitely can appreciate everything that he's done up to this point, and I'm really excited to see what he's going to do next. He has been a treasure for the team that he's on, and I'm hoping the best for what's going to come from this as we move forward. So a lot of good stuff coming up here where sports meets that thing called life, and I think that Joe Burrow right after Kyler Murray makes perfect sense to put him in that position. And I'm excited to see what he's going to bring to the table this year, as he has definitely not ceased to impress us in his first year and a half of being on the field in the NFL, going to a Super Bowl. So I got Joe Burrow as number 4. Number 5, might throw the best ball in all of the NFL. Might throw the prettiest looking ball, and that's Justin Herbert of the Chargers. That's why I couldn't keep him outside of my top 5. He's got Mike Williams. He's got Keenan Allen. He's got Austin Eckler. They just added rookie Isaiah Spiller to help run between the tackles. So there's a lot to be had here. They also have Donald Parham Jr. as one of their tight ends, and happy for Donald Parham Jr., one of my top 5 favorite XFL players in the last iteration of the XFL. So, I mean, what can you say about Justin Herbert? He's extremely good, and that's the reality of it all. So I think, Herbert, for me, I don't have to sell him to you, but if you need to know his numbers last year, he was second only to Tom Brady. He had over 5,000 yards. There's only 2 quarterbacks that had at least 5,000 yards last year. Brady had 53-16. Herbert had 5,014, 38 touchdowns to 15 interceptions, and his completion percentage was almost 66% at 65.9. So best completion percentages, Derek Carr was at 68.4. Dak Prescott, 68.8. Aaron Rodgers, 68.9. Jimmy Garoppolo, 68.3, which is crazy because people have written him off 1,000 times. Tom Brady was 67.5. Matt Stafford was 67.2. Patty Mahomes is 66.3. Joe Burrow was 70.4% completion percentage. Think about that. 70.4% completion percentage for Joe Burrow. And you're like, okay, Dan, what did he attempt, 10 passes at the end of a game? No. He attempted 520 passes and was 70% complete on those passes. Crazy, with 34 touchdowns to 14 interceptions. So Joe Burrow, number 4, Justin Herbert, number 5. Number 6, Lamar Jackson, and it's because of what he brings to the table. It's because of the fact that the next few quarterbacks, within these next few quarterbacks, I'm going to be reading off guys that can run the ball. And, Lamar Jackson, that's a guy who's, a history maker, right? Getting 1,000 yards on the ground, getting plenty of yards through the air, and Lamar Jackson continues to not get the credit that he deserves. Granted, he had 16 touchdowns passing to 13 interceptions, but he's a guy who is the leading running back on your team, and he's your quarterback. The ball is going to get hiked to him 99.9% of the time outside of any type of wildcat or some type of formation. So he's going to have the ball in his hands, and when he has the ball in his hands, he's dangerous. And so him, like Kyler Murray, I'd put him there, but Kyler Murray, I think, a better quarterback there and better yardage getter, as a quarterback. That's why Lamar Jackson dipped, because his overall numbers come from running and throwing, and so that's why I had him dip to number 6. Number 7 is Tom Brady. I had him fall a little bit here. Some people might think I have him too high, but again, he led the league. At 44 years old last year, he led the league with over 5,000 yards passing, 5,316. He had 43 touchdowns to 12 interceptions at 44 years old. He played in all 17 games. He attempted 719 passes. Nobody else in the NFL attempted as many passes as he did. Almost 68% completion percentage, as I mentioned before. So, what can you say about Tom Brady? Realistically, this guy is number 1. But, fantasy football-wise, people shy away from going after him, for the fantasy numbers. But there's no doubt that Tom Brady and Joe Burrow have definitely put up some really good fantasy numbers. I had him on the same team 2 years ago. One would put up 60, one would put up 50, one would put up 48, one would put up 51. So Tom Brady's number 7. Number 8 for me is Dak Prescott. I got to put Dak on this. And, Dak Prescott, again, another guy who I don't think gets enough credit, but sometimes people overhype him. He ended last year in the top 7 in passing yards, 4,449 passing yards. And he had 37 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. His completion percentage was just shy of 69%, as I had mentioned before. So, Dak Prescott, what can you say about him? He loses Amari Cooper, which I was very surprised. 5-year deal, and he doesn't finish it out, and he goes to the Browns. And Lord only knows what's going to happen there. Amari, I don't think that was the best decision for you, especially with Deshaun being out for the first 11 games and Baker being gone. And listen, they rolled the dice. I guess they really didn't want Baker to be their quarterback, which is something I mentioned before, because they let him go, not knowing what was going to happen with Deshaun. And first it was 6 games, now it's 11. It's more than half the season. He's only going to be able to play in 6 games when they thought it was going to be a 6-game suspension. Now he only gets to play in 6. So no Deshaun Watson, I think, is going to affect a lot of people like Amari Cooper. So thank you. So with that being said, and like I said, Hooters Girls great here, and drinking my water and filling it back up. So awesome. I always say that when you're not finished with your drink and somebody fills it up, it shows you're in a nice establishment. So Tom Brady, Dak Prescott. Dak has Michael Gallup. We'll see what he can do coming here from Colorado. At this point, he's going to have to make it happen. He's going to have to make it quick, because there's not a lot of time left on this. So we'll see where he can go from here. But Michael Gallup, I think his days are numbered. CeeDee Lamb, obviously, a lot of people high on him. I'm pretty high on him, maybe not as high as other people. We'll get to that later on in the show, as we are live from iDrive for Hooters Week, previewing the college and pro football seasons. This is the first big conversation we've had about the NFL from Hooters this week. We've gotten really deep into it today as I'm giving you my fantasy football rankings at quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end. If you have any questions, comments, thoughts, you agree with me, disagree with me, make sure you send them over to me. If you want to know sleepers, busts, all that good stuff, you can send them to us, and I'll be more than happy to answer those questions for you. Always happy to answer your questions here. And we're actually I'm going to take a little moment here to jump into see if we have anybody that had sent anything over to us on YouTube, because I want to make sure we got everything up here for you. So, yeah, Dak Prescott, I mean, you got CeeDee Lamb, you got Michael Gallup. We'll see what Michael Gallup can do this season. But, like I said, I think his days are numbered. I like Tony Pollard a lot. I think he could eventually
anybody that had sent it up here for you. So, yeah, Dak Prescott,
Ezekiel Elliott, who is falling down my draft board. Not as far as Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but he's falling. So, Dak, listen, he's very talented out of Mississippi State, and he gets a lot of credit. So he's in my top 8. My number 9 is a guy who I know is higher than is on some of these other lists I've looked at, is Russell Wilson. Russ the Bus. I got to keep him here, and, I'm gonna be putting these up here for you as we do them. So the fantasy quarterback rankings, and number 1 that we have on this thing, like I said, Josh Allen takes the cake here. Number 2, I went with Patty Mahomes the second. Number 3, going with Kyler Murray. So we have Kyler Murray at number 3 for us, and coming out of the Cardinals. Number 4 on my list of quarterbacks, we're going with Joe Burrow from the Cincinnati Bengals. Number 5, we're going with Justin Herbert, who I said might throw the prettiest ball in the NFL. Number 6, I went with Lamar Jackson. Number 7 on our list, Tom Brady. Number 8 that made the list here is Dak Prescott. And my number 9 is Russ the Bus Wilson. I think Russell Wilson automatically changes, and I've said this before, I think he changes the trajectory for 4 wide receivers, if not more, right off the jump. And that is, affecting DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett in a negative way by leaving Seattle, and then affecting Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy in a positive way, because I think these guys are much more talented than maybe what you've seen as of late. So Russ the Bus being with the Denver Broncos, I think they could be a playoff team with him there. If not this season, then next season, but hopefully this season they could do it. And number 10, I got to take the Super Bowl quarterback, Matty Stafford. I know I got him higher on my board than other people here too, but Matt Stafford, listen, he's got a ton of weapons. A bunch of those weapons have come back. He's got a loaded backfield that kind of affects you negatively in fantasy football, but positively, he has Cooper Kupp, arguably the best in the game, and the guys that you can argue that would be the best instead of Cooper Kupp, Justin Jefferson from the Vikings and Jamar Chase from the Bengals. But, Cooper Kupp, listen, when people knew to key in on him, knew to go after him, knew to focus on him, he just got better. And that shows you how good he is. It shows you how good Matt Stafford is as well, that Matt Stafford spent, 12 seasons in one place, and then for his 13th season in the NFL, goes across the country and wins the Super Bowl right off the bat. So big ups to him for that. Number 11 is Derek Carr. He's also higher on my list here. I think Derek Carr is a sleeper quarterback, and it's so weird for me to say because he's talented, but now he has Darren Waller back. He has Hunter Renfrow, who's great for PPR. He has Devontae Adams. He has Josh Jacobs in a contract year, who I think is better than people give him credit for. So you have all of these weapons with a quarterback that's more than capable. So I think fantasy-wise, he's going to be able to get you some points because somebody's going to be open in the field with all those talented guys out there. The guy I put after him is the guy that seemingly looks like he ran Devontae Adams out of the building, and that's Aaron Rodgers, right? Aaron Rodgers signs a $50 million a year contract. And 3 days later, Devontae Adams is gone. I thought they were a package deal. I thought that when Devontae saw the keeping of Aaron Rodgers that he was going to be happy about it. He was going to be excited. He was going to stick around. The opposite actually happened, and he pieced out and got moved over to the Green Bay Packers, to the Las Vegas Raiders. So a little bit of a crazy situation there, but could also tell you the virus that Aaron Rodgers may be, as talented as he is, that his wide receivers don't want to stay with him. And losing a guy like Devontae Adams and then flipping out on your receivers for the second year in a row in practice probably doesn't bode well for Christian Watson, who I think could take over as the number 1 out of North Dakota State, and Alan Lazard, who he typically likes and had liked, who was taken off of the Jaguars practice squad and went from like 5th string to number 2 guy behind Devontae Williams. So you don't have Devontae anymore, and you ripped on the people you do have. That's why he fell out of my top 10. Not just because of the decisions he's made there, but the overall thought of that's probably not a good locker room. And I don't care how talented Aaron Rodgers is. If you talk about me like that, I would be asking to be traded myself. Number 13 is a guy who they say runs the equator line. There's 32 teams in the NFL, so you could see him in a situation like that, but I got him as number 13, right? There's 32 teams in the NFL, 16 would be the equator. I got him as 13, a little bit higher. I like Kirk Cousins. He has Justin Jefferson. He has Adam Thielen. He has talented guys on the team. And, okay, you lose Stephon Diggs, and look what Justin Jefferson did as a rookie, 1,000-yard receiver. And on top of what Justin Jefferson has done, you still have Dalvin Cook, you have Alexander Madison. You got some good stuff on that team, so he's number 13. My number 14 fantasy quarterback is Jalen Hurts. People take a lot away from this guy, which is very unfortunate, and I don't know why. So, I don't know what it is, but there's something that people don't like about the Philadelphia guy, and so I'm going to put you right here. So we're going to be joined. We're going to take a little break from the fantasy football talk, as we're going to be joined here by Portia. So, Portia, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Doing very well. And so you were with us last year.
Yeah.
And you have had some time to, get around the show and be around it and what it's like. How would you describe what we do here?
You guys inform people about sports. You promote Hooters, which is important to us, obviously. And yeah, that's it.
We talk about your music. We definitely talk about music.
We talked about Bad Bunny last time.
Yes. And can I ask you?
He's still my favorite.
And I'm going to ask you why.
He's my favorite because, number one, I love his music, and also he's really fun to see live. I've gone to his concert, and he just seems really humble. Like, he'll still go out and, go to bars in Puerto Rico and hang out with just normal people.
Yeah.
And he doesn't act like he's better than everyone, even though he, really is, though.
So, have you gotten to meet him?
I haven't gotten to meet him. I've seen him perform.
Okay. So you saw him perform, and you said he was very humble, and you like the fact that he'll just, go out and say hello to fans and all that. Is there anybody else that you can liken to that's really, really good with their fans?
Let me think about this. I haven't met that many celebrities, so...
Okay. I heard Lee
I'm really
Bryce
humble
came
to
in
my
here.
fans.
Okay. That's
Just
good.
kidding.
That's good. Well, no, listen. But you are humble to it because you are a calendar girl at Hooters, and you've been extremely successful with that here in Orlando, Florida, and people can see you all over the world. How do you respond to something like that, where you open up a calendar that could be in Puerto Rico, could be here in America, could be in Germany, could be in literally anywhere on this planet, and they're going to get to know who Portia is?
It's exciting. Calendar is one of my favorite things with this company. Hooters offers a lot of opportunities besides working in the stores,
Yeah.
whether it be traveling to open new stores, competing for our Miss Hooters International pageant, shooting for the Hooters calendar. I've made it a point to try at least once all of those things, and I don't regret it. I have a lot of great memories from it, and calendar's coming out soon, so I'm excited again. Hopefully I get a picture this year.
So, and you say hopefully you get one where it's, I would be stunned if you didn't, but you have a humbleness to that. You're on your Instagram. We obviously are connected on Instagram, so I see your stuff. Can you tell me if you have a style or a way about you? Is there something that's maybe like a theme of what you try to do?
As far as social media?
Yeah,
or?
like when you're posting pictures, I know you have different things you have for different parts of the year, but is there like a Portia way? Is there like a stamp of how you do what you do, like how you would describe being a model?
Honestly, there is no method to this madness.
Okay.
Whether I'm doing a photo shoot, promoting Hooters, or just out living life, I just post whatever I feel like posting.
So some people like yourself will post some of these kind of like, not gory, but like a little bit of that like evil side, like the blood, that type of thing. What inspires you to do something like that?
I've always been into horror movies or anything horror related. Halloween is my favorite holiday of the year, so I like to get all into it. I go all out with the effects makeup, the creepy contacts. I've just always loved doing that kind of makeup. So if you don't follow me, you should follow at Portia_Malaya, and you're gonna see cool makeup this year too.
So I want to go into the contact side of things, because I've seen some crazy contacts from people before. And there was actually a guy that was down with the Tampa Bay Bucks a few years ago who had orange contacts, and I come from the city of Orange, and obviously Hooters is orange, and they were like square and orange. And I just remember interviewing, it was Aurelius Ben, and I was looking at him going, that's insane. Like, I couldn't stop looking at them. So what's the craziest one you've done for contacts?
I was an evil bunny last year.
Okay.
I had white eyes. Well, I had one white eye because one fell out, but it made it look even creepier. And then I was also a clown, and that was really cool too. I'll have to show you pictures. I have some.
Did you do It the Clown, or were you a different clown?
No, I wasn't basic. I went and did like a Porsche clown.
Okay.
So it was very dramatic, very scary, sexy.
Who inspired you for your clown, your original clown?
There's a makeup artist. Her tag is Made You Look, and I've been following her for years.
Okay.
And I used to just watch her do like all of the, like the cutouts and the gory stuff, and I just kind of copied what she did. But I put my own twist on it.
So
always be original.
And that's something you don't see from a lot of people these days. Do you think that your originality is what has gotten you to where you are right now?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like it's very easy to just follow what everyone else is doing, especially when it comes to social media trends or just in life in general. So it's really important to just make sure to stay original, be yourself, and don't let other people influence you if it's not what you really want to represent or do.
There was something that someone had posted today, and I shared it because I say it all the time. When you are the author of your own story, don't hand anybody else the pen. It's kind of going off what you just said. So
yeah, that's a cool quote.
So when you were growing up, was this always a thing in your mind that you wanted to get into modeling, you wanted to be a part of it? Was that something that was on your mind, or did you have another aspiration?
So I actually went to school for legal studies, and I went to be a paralegal.
Okay.
It was more kind of just like my mom telling me to do it. I wasn't super interested in it, to be honest. But I started getting into modeling through Hooters, actually. I started doing shoots to try and get into the calendar, and through that I met other photographers who just one by one, either through the girls or the photographers, I would get more opportunities, and it kind of just took off from there.
So is there a model that you think, like growing up, was your favorite, was like the best? Somebody that you look back at their pictures and say, she really knew how to do it?
Honestly, not really. I don't think so.
All right. Okay, do you hope that somebody does that with you someday?
Well, I used to love watching the Tyra Banks show.
Okay.
Next Top Model.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, I always thought Tyra Banks did it
She's still hot.
well. I mean, she is. She was one of the first posters that I ever had in my life. And I tell people all the time, like, Tyra, there was a way about the way she did it where she, no matter what anybody said from any walk of life, you always mention Tyra Banks.
Yeah.
So do you hope that somebody someday says, I look up to Portia? What would you think if somebody said that?
Honestly, I've already had girls from Hooters say that to me just through Hooters, and it makes me feel really good. When I traveled and opened stores, I got to meet a lot of different girls from a lot of different backgrounds, and teaching them to be independent and make their own money for the first time in their lives. They remember that, and they thank you. And I've had girls say, like, I want to do what you do with Hooters. So
when you've gotten to travel and open stores, where have you gone? Where have you gotten to go?
I've been to Texas many times.
Okay.
Many different places of Texas, which I love Texas. It's always fun. I opened 2 stores in South America, in Bolivia. That's actually where I went to the Bad Bunny concert.
Okay.
And then I opened a store in Lithuania. And that opening was really fun because on the way back, we actually had an extra day that our layover was in Vienna.
Yeah.
And so we got to spend the whole day in downtown Vienna just like shopping and, just being a tourist. And then the other stores were Florida, Alabama, Georgia, Nebraska. I can't think of any others right now. I'm sure there's more.
When you go to open them, what were you tasked to do? What did you have to do?
Our main goal for the opening is just to get the store up and running, making sure the staff is, trained properly to take care of the guests, and most importantly, just make sure that the girls are having fun and making money.
When you and I met last year for Hooters Week, you came right over to where my booth is stationed here, and you said, I'm like the den mother, I protect my girls. You wanted...
That hasn't changed.
So what has made you take on that leadership role? I mean, I respect it very much so, and as I told you last year, I was like, what you see is what you get, and I think I led up to that. And so you and I have had the opportunity to work together, and I've seen you not just be a Hooters girl, but you've been a Hooters leader, and you are very much in tune with making sure that the team is together and that the team is represented in the right way. What made you want to take on that leadership role?
I've always been passionate about the company. I've been with this company for a long time, and I respect everything that we represent. We raise money for breast cancer. We help all these different types of charities in our communities. And so not only that, but the opportunities that Hooters offers to the girls made me just really love this company. So whenever I train any of the girls, I just really let them know, like, this company has more to offer than just a restaurant job. Let me teach you, like, how to make money here and have fun at the same time. And I feel like because I've trained so many girls, they, how do you say, like, they respect it and they appreciate it. Because I do try to take my time, and when there's someone new, I'll introduce myself, like, hey, everyone here is really great at iDrive, you're gonna fit in great, and just make sure I really teach them how to be successful at Hooters.
What is a common misconception of Hooters that when a girl comes in and is getting trained, you're like, hey, I want you to know that this is what people may think, but this is who we are?
I think that it's pretty obvious what a misconception about Hooters would be. We still have people that ask, like, are children allowed in here? Well, yes, we have children's birthdays in here all the time.
Yeah.
I actually have regulars that are families, and their kids come up and they hug me whenever they come in here. They're like, oh, Portia, we're so happy to see you. So I think a misconception is that we're more geared towards a certain customer base, when in reality we cater to everyone. We want everyone to come to Hooters and have a great time.
And so for you, I want to go back to music here. We're gonna do rapid fire in a second.
Oh, I thought you said rap. I was like,
yeah, I'm gonna make you rap.
Am I rapping or are you rapping?
I'll do it, but you have to do it too. So we're here with Portia, and we are live from iDrive Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Hooters Week is right here from August 22nd to August 26th, and always happy to be here with all the Hooters girls and thank them very much for the awesome work that they've done. We're going to play rapid fire. We're going to do 3 apiece. You can ask me anything in the world, and I have to answer it on live radio and live video worldwide, and you have to answer my questions too. So I kind of know what topics you're...
Wait, but you're already prepared. I don't have questions.
That's okay. I'm not supposed to... You don't know anything, and I don't know anything. Okay. We're supposed to know absolutely nothing about it. You can ask me the first question.
Have you ever worked in a restaurant?
I have. So I worked up north at a restaurant for a few months out of college when I was trying to get my first broadcasting job at ESPN. And I only worked there 4 months, and I can honestly tell you that it was one of the best places as far as just like the people that I got to meet, and I still keep in touch with one of my old bosses. She's Jamie, fantastic human being. So I would say I learned a lot in a short amount of time, and then I actually ran the restaurant. I ran the whole dining room at Disney for Hollywood Studios Sci-Fi Dine-In Theater, which while I was there was the busiest restaurant on property.
I could imagine.
On a slow day, we were double booked. On a non-slow day, on like a regular day, we were triple booked, and I had to get like 3,000 people and 1,000 seats without anybody knowing that there was 3,000 people waiting. So, I mean, I definitely thought it was a great experience, and I like it. I like customer service. I like making people's days. I like doing something that if you're having a horrible day, I want to change it. If you're having a great day, I want to make it better.
I love that.
So I like doing that. My first
one.
Wait,
do I keep going with my questions, or do we go back and forth?
We'll go back and forth. So, all right, Portia. If you, okay, so you're into makeup and all that stuff and horror stuff. I want you to turn me into a like horror villain. So if you were doing my costume and makeup and stuff for Halloween, what would you make me?
I would make you the bad guy from Stranger Things, Vecta.
Okay, all right. So,
but you'd have to do his voice too.
I'd have to do the voice too. Okay, all right. Are you? So I'm guessing you're a Stranger Things fan.
Vecna, yeah. Yeah. So when the new season came out, pretty sure I binged it in 2 days. Maybe it was a day.
I didn't finish all the way. I do watch it, but I didn't finish all the way through yet.
How have you not finished Stranger Things?
I didn't finish it
Shame.
yet. I did not finish it yet, but I will. What's your next one for me?
My next question is, why did you pick Hooters to come and do your broadcast out of all other places?
I met Tim Baum 12 years ago when Hooters was at Point, Orlando. And when we met, we just built a really good relationship. And I thought to myself, if I'm going to come back, what I liked about it, and you had mentioned it before, is that Hooters isn't what people think it is from the outside looking in. And I remember going on the website, and it was like, we're not just a pretty face. And it had all of these women that had worked at Hooters and all these incredible careers that people have. And I thought to myself, if I'm going to come back and I'm going to expand my brand in Florida, which is the second home of my show and my company, I said I really want to work with good people, and I really like Tim, and I got to know Jeff a little bit, Jeff Spraker, and then Farron has been incredible with me. So I said to Tim, I met him here, and he was like, well, do you want to go to this location or a bunch of different ones? I said, honestly, I love the layout here, and I'd love to just experience what it's like to be here. And honestly, what brought me back this year was all of those same people and all of you, because you guys treated me with respect, and I would like to think I gave it back to you all. And I just feel like we built a good relationship. So to me, I get excited to promote you as much as promoting the show, because I think, and I could be biased here, but I think you have a lot of really great women working here. And I think that, to me, it's a good showing for Hooters, because you guys work really hard, you do really good work, and you have really awesome personalities. I've learned a lot. So, and I love the fact that you have taken on the leadership role. So honestly, I've had a lot of respect for you since the day I met you.
Thanks, Dan.
I have to say that. So my second one for you, Portia. Okay, I'm going to put you in a movie world. You can live in any movie.
I belong in a movie world, honestly.
So I could put you in, I feel that way too, for me. So I could put you in any movie world. What world are you living in and why?
Ooh. Let me think about that one for a second.
Okay.
A movie world.
Yeah.
See, all I like is horror movies, but I don't want to live in a horror movie.
Okay. You could pick a TV show too if you want. TV or anything that's something you watch.
I would want to be in...
You want to live in the Upside Down?
I don't, actually. I don't think I could go to Sephora on the Upside Down.
That's true. Sephora is now in Target, which is crazy to me. But... Oh no, I'm sorry, it's not Target. It's in Kohl's now. Yeah.
I can't think of an answer for that one.
Okay, so I'll give you a different one. If you were going to be in, well, I probably know the answer to this. Okay, you know what? I'm going to take this away from you, so you can't. You can't be in a Bad Bunny music video. You got to pick somebody else. Whose music video would you want to be in?
Oh.
Like you're the main woman in that video. Whose video?
I'd probably do one for Jay Wheeler.
Okay, all right.
I love his music too.
Can appreciate that. What's your last one for me?
My last question?
Yes.
Let's see. My last question is, are you going to come back and buy a Hooters calendar for me this year?
Am I going to come back and buy one? When do they come out?
October 1st.
So I was...
Supposedly.
All right. Well, I was born in October. I'm an October 21st baby. So I will come back and I will get one. Yeah, why not? Will you sign it? Because I'm not getting it.
If I'm in it, I'll sign it.
She's going to be in it.
To be continued.
You're going to be in it. When do you find out? You don't find out when you open it, right? They tell you before?
No, you pretty much have to wait till calendars come out.
Well, you'll be in it. And when you're in it, I'll come back down and you'll sign it.
Okay, deal.
That's a deal. All right, fair enough. My last one for you, Portia, is if you had to play a sport, what sport would you play and why?
Well, I did gymnastics and cheerleading growing up, so I've always liked that.
Okay.
But I love soccer too, so I'm going to go with soccer on this one.
Do you follow soccer or no?
I do. I haven't been watching it lately.
Okay.
But I do love Chelsea.
Okay.
From European League.
Not a bad team to like. They win a lot.
Yeah.
So All right, so soccer, that coming from Porsche here at Hooters I Drive, 8801 International Drive in Orlando, Florida. Make sure you come out and see Porsche and the team during our Hooters week here for Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and all year round. Porsche, as always, thank you.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Dan.
it.
Thanks for having me.
I'll talk with you soon.
Bye.
Take care. So with that being said, we're going to keep rocking and rolling here on our quarterback side of things for our fantasy football rankings before we take a step aside, because I want you to have that continuity. So Jalen Hurts is the last one that I gave you, is number 14 on my list. And so I'm bringing you Jalen Hurts because, I mean, listen, he's a top 15 on this list for me. I'm not sold on Jalen Hurts, but I also don't get the disgust that people have with Jalen Hurts, right? He has A.J. Brown now. He has Devontae Smith. He's got a stable of running backs, including Gainwell and Miles Sanders, so, Kenneth Gainwell. So I think, again, there's a lot of weapons. Jalen Hurts can run the ball as well, so I'm going to put him there as number 14, right behind Kirk Cousins. And I put him there because I think Kirk's a little bit above the equator. He's got Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. He's got Delvin Cook. So I think there's more talent there than in, Philadelphia at this point. Number 15 that makes my list here is Trey Lance. I'm still unsold on Trey. I don't know where Trey is going to go here. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo is still a part of this team, which doesn't make any sense to me because, in my opinion, Jimmy Garoppolo should be a Seattle Seahawk right now. Sign him for a year, see what he could do, and then if you want to draft a quarterback, draft a quarterback. But why punish DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett and company because of the fact that maybe you're looking to get a quarterback in the 2023 draft? So, Trey Lance, I mean, listen, he played last year. He did some good things, and, I'm not against having Trey Lance out there. It's just, for me, I think that Trey Lance is one of those guys that kind of lives in this world of do you or don't you? And, I mean, hopefully I'm not put in a situation where I have to draft him because I would prefer to not have to. I mean, if he's my backup quarterback, I'm fine with that, but not as my starting quarterback. And that's why, he dips to number 15 on this list for me because I can't justify it. But, I think obviously, listen, he's got tremendous upside. He didn't have as much time in college, which could help him with his body.
On this list
so
for me, because I can't justify it. But, I think obviously, listen, he's got tremendous upside.
We got a question
He
here.
didn't have as
Dan
much
just
time in
stated,
college, which
I'm
could
on
help him with his
Brown,
this list for me,
DJ
because I
more
can't
helpful for
justify
everybody.
it.
Yeah, that's a win, brother.
I think obviously, listen, he's got tremendous upside.
That's a
Question, he didn't have as much time in college, which could help him with his this list for me, because I can't justify it.
That's a win, brother.
I think obviously, listen, he's got tremendous upside. Question, he didn't have as much time in college, which could help him with his
Tyler Lockett is
That's a win, brother.
He's just on the team. It's undesirable. I don't see to go after him. I don't see that Drew Lock, Tyler Lockett, and Geno Smith as the quarterbacks. And now I'm not trying to knock those guys at all. I don't trust them with my fantasy team. I think everyone that makes it in the NFL is obviously capable a lot more than the majority of the world. But in the same respect, I mean, just because they're capable, do I want to put them on my team as my quarterback? No. So, for me, I think that's a win, and you're going to see where I have DJ Moore here in just a little bit as I'll be making that announcement. But, yeah, I mean, I think that's a win for you, so thank you for the question. Appreciate you sending it in. For those of you that were with us on Facebook, our video had ended here, so we're going to be bringing you part 2 of this video. My apologies for that here, and we'll be bringing you the video back here where sports meets that thing called life on facebook.com/livenowdt. So we'll be bringing that back to you. So for those of you on this video, just chose Trey Lance as number 15 on the list. And so number 16 on my list, and some people might call me a homer for this, I don't think it is. I'm putting him in the middle of the road of fantasy quarterbacks, and that's Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, listen, the situation he was under last year was not ideal, right? With everything that he had to deal with the issues of his coach really not being a head coach that seemed to be fully there in Urban Meyer, and that offensive line that never seemed to stay healthy that I said multiple times, if this offensive line doesn't stay healthy, it's going to go. And last year I said, this is the last year. I said this is the last year they keep all of these guys on the offensive line. They may keep some of them, but this is the last year we're going to see this iteration of the line. If they can't stay healthy, they didn't stay healthy, and that was the last year we saw it. So, Trevor Lawrence last year as a rookie, just shy of 60% completion percentage, 3,641 yards passing, 12 touchdowns to 17 interceptions. He attempted over 600 passes as a rookie and completed 359 of those. So I don't think those are bad numbers at all. Again, look at what Peyton Manning did as a rookie and how much he struggled, right, and how many interceptions he threw. So I definitely think that Trevor Lawrence can be one of those guys that's not a bad backup for you in a deep league. That's why I put him at number 16. Behind him is the quarterback of the other team that's came out. And so looking at that, I mean, Jaguars and the Panthers came out in the same year in 1995. Baker Mayfield is here for me. I had Baker Mayfield dip a little bit more than I had before, and I had him dip because of the fact that I just feel that, in my opinion, Baker Mayfield, he's not a bad quarterback, and I'd have him higher. It's just the situation that we're currently living in. And the situation that we're living in is he going to be the dominant guy, right? Is he going to be the guy that we're going to see here every single week? Will he play all 17 games for the Panthers? I think there's a chance he does, and I also think there's a chance he doesn't. So, I'm kind of riding in the middle of that, and that's why I had him dip a little bit here for Baker Mayfield, because that may be a quarterback committee. And if that's a quarterback committee, then you're in, sound footing if you're in a situation like in our leagues, in the wake-up call fantasy football leagues down here in Florida and up in central and upstate New York. I let you have the team quarterback. So you get Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo instead of having to choose, because you get the San Francisco 49ers quarterback situation. And with Baker Mayfield, you get everybody there. But if we're strictly talking individual quarterbacks, that's why Baker dropped, because I don't know if Baker is going to be every single week. We may see Sam Darnold. We may see the rookie Matt Corral. This is kind of a fluid situation, which is why I'm a little bit concerned about this, because Baker's not a bad quarterback, but I do think that he's maybe a little bit above the equator line. And in the situation he's in now on a team that's got like 4 quarterbacks at this current point in time, I don't know how great I feel about him being the dominant person that we're going to see every single week. And that's why I have him where I have him in the grand scheme of things. The next one that I have up here is Ryan Tannehill at number 18. Now, Tannehill dipped a little bit here. I can argue that Tannehill should be higher than Baker Mayfield, but, Ryan Tannehill, this is where he currently sits for me. And he sits here because do I expect him to have a potential dip? I do. I could see him having a dip. Listen, this is a situation where he has to rely on having Treylon Burks really show up quickly, show up often, and show up consistently. And that's why I'm a little bit concerned about this current situation, because of the fact that, you get rid of a guy who has proven himself as a 1,000-yard receiver by bringing in a guy that costs you less money to be your 1,000-yard receiver in Treylon Burks after you got rid of A.J. Brown. And because of that situation, Ryan Tannehill is going to fall a little bit for me here. I don't think he's a bad quarterback. I think he's better than people give him credit for. I think last year that I could have argued him. Yeah, so Matt Corral obviously out for the season. Yeah, so if and when, Greg, he was able to return, and granted, this is a potential bad sign for Matt Corral. He's hurt again as a rookie. So hopefully this is not something that will follow him. I know people worry about Tua because of a situation like this. So, Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold, I think there's a chance we could see them both, and that's why Baker, like I said, dipped a little bit. Ryan Tannehill dips because they lose A.J. Brown. Number 19 on my list, he does make my top 20, and I think he could rise up this list. He is a potential sleeper, and I did pick him in one of my drafts as my backup quarterback, because my backup quarterback, you only need him for a week, right? Justin Fields of the Bears. Justin Fields can run. Justin Fields can throw. I think Darnell Mooney is set to have a nice season as a Chicago Bear out of Tulane, who's been there for a few seasons, and Allen Robinson's not there anymore, so somebody needs to take over as the number one guy. I like I like Justin Fields. And, listen, last year he played in 12 games. He had almost 2,000 yards, 7 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. But this is a guy that can be elusive, right? And this is a guy that can get out there and stay upright and stay on the field and get after it. Running the ball last year, he had 2 rushing touchdowns on 420 yards, averaged 5.8 yards per carry, so more than halfway to a first down. That's why I squeaked Justin Fields in here, because like Jalen Hurts, like a Trey Lance, like a Lamar Jackson, like a Kyler Murray, that he can run the ball. My number 20, making my top 20, this was tough for me. My 20, 21, and 22, these guys could be somewhat interchangeable. And so what I have on the list at number 20 is Daniel Jones of the New York Giants. It's put up or shut up time. They did not, pick up the team option on his final year on the team from his rookie contract, and he was a very high draft pick, right? He was drafted in the top 10. So Daniel Jones for me, I think he was number 4 overall out of Duke, and I spent some time with him there. Also talked with former Duke head coach David Cutcliffe about him. So, I think for Daniel Jones, I got him in my top 20. I'm hoping some of these young guys will show up. I'm hoping Kenny Galladay will do some things. I'm hoping, that Kadarius Toney will show up as well for them, and we'll see where they could go from here with the Giants. Number 21 for me is Mac Jones of the Patriots. There's no household name on the Patriots right now at running back. That's why I'm questioning this. I put him in my top 21 at 21 because I think that as long as Bill Belichick's a head coach, then, your quarterback's going to do something. And Mac Jones showed last year that he can do something. So I got him here. Number 23, I have Davis Mills. I think Davis Mills was a steal in the 3rd round out of Stanford a couple drafts ago for the Houston Texans. I think he's going to get better. And I think Tua's somewhere in here. Maybe Tua's number 23. Tua, to me, he's got to prove some things to me. He's another guy that has to stay healthy. And if and when I see that, then we could be having a different conversation about Tua. But, I think Daniel Jones goes above him, Mac Jones goes above him, and I think Davis Mills. So at number 23, I would have Tua in here. And I think that's a fair place for Tua to be in the grand scheme of things here. Outside of that, if I'm looking at any other quarterbacks here, and if you've gotten to this point, of your draft, and we're looking at fantasy football quarterback rankings here, you got my top 23, and I would say beyond that here, if we're looking at maybe a sleeper or two that you could be looking at when it comes to individual quarterbacks, I think that well, actually I didn't put him here. I actually didn't put him here in this list. That was my fault. So I meant to put him a little bit higher here. This was my mistake. So I'm gonna put him right in here. So at number 16, I'm gonna put Matt Ryan. That's a 100% my fault. The Colts have changed their quarterbacks like they've changed underwear since Andrew Luck retired very early on, I think at 29 years old in his career. So Matt Ryan's going to be number 16 on my list. Number 17 is Trevor Lawrence. Number 18 is Baker Mayfield. Number 19 is Ryan Tannehill. Number 20 is Justin Fields. And then that makes more sense to me to put Daniel Jones outside of the top 20 at 21. At 22, I have Mac Jones. At 23, I have Davis Mills. And at 24, I have Tua. So my fault on that. Matt Ryan was supposed to be within that. Other guys that could be sleepers, I'm just not sold on him, again, with staying healthy. And he's been on 3 different teams in 3 different years as Carson Wentz. He's now with the Washington Commanders. Mitch Trubisky, I think eventually lose his job to Kenny Pickett. Marcus Mariota, I'm not sold on that. I think Desmond Ridder will eventually take over there, if not this season, then next season. Without Deshaun Watson, you're looking at Jacoby Brissett in Cleveland right now. And I don't feel great about the Joe Flacco situation with the Jets if we don't have a healthy Zach Wilson. If Zach Wilson is able to be healthy all year long, I still not am 100% sold on any of that. And, Teddy Bridgewater's in Miami if something happens with Tua, which is probably one of the best situations for a backup quarterback. And, Tyrod Taylor's still around the NFL here with the Giants. Jimmy Garoppolo's still with San Francisco. So I think it gets a little bit dicey after that. So that's how I would look at it 1 through 24 for my fantasy quarterback rankings. We're going to take a step aside for a fast break here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, live from iDrive. It is Hooters Week, and we are exclusively at 8801 International Drive in Orlando, Florida, at Hooters of iDrive. And you heard from Portia just a little bit before. You'll be hearing from yet another Hooters girl in hour number 2, and our fantasy running back, wide receiver, and tight end rankings will be coming to you here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of Hooters of iDrive in Orlando for our college and pro football preview week, here where sports truly meets that thing called life. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
I'm gonna order after.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York, open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5, Camillus, where you will find handcrafted all-natural soy wax candles over 60 cents to freshen up your home. We carry a wide range of locally made items, Salsa Q's, Syracuse Salt, and Chocolate Pizza Company, to name a few. Let our knowledgeable staff help choose unique gifts and keepsakes for any occasion. Gifts for family and friends, and maybe a little something for yourself. Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5, Camillus.
Welcome back here inside of Hooters iDrive Orlando. We are live from iDrive here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Happy to be here with you this wonderful week of Monday, August 22nd through Friday, August 26th, my grandfather's birthday. Shout out to Grandpa Cavino. And of course, wearing my Dolphin hat here today. As you know, the Dolphin Dive aired at 9 a.m. this morning, as it always does every second and fourth Wednesday of each month during Dolphin time. You can check out Lemoyne Dolphins content by going to the Lemoyne tab on wakeupcalldt.com, subscribing to our youtube.com/wakeupcalldt channel, and of course you can go back and watch the video today on facebook.com and youtube.com, both /wakeupcalldt, as we feature Tom Bonus of the Lemoyne Dolphins men's soccer team, the head coach, coming off of their preseason retreat that added a unique special wrinkle to this season, and I'm very excited about what that can mean for them. So with that being said, we are here inside of Hooters iDrive Orlando, 8801 International Drive in Orlando, Florida, with college and pro football preview week. I gave you my fantasy quarterback rankings 1 through 24, and we're going to give you 20 plus when it comes to the fantasy running backs. My number one fantasy running back ranked here this season, Jonathan Taylor from the Indianapolis Colts. The man can do it all, and now he has Matty Ryan helping him out. So I have Jonathan Taylor as our number one here for me, in my opinion, that's going to get things done here. And Jonathan Taylor, last season, when we look at our running back statistics last season here, and we look at that, Jonathan Taylor had 332 carries, which was nuts last year. 332 carries, and he was able to put in a lot of work with that. 332 carries for 1,811 rushing yards. Crazy. 18 touchdowns. Absolutely nuts. He also received the ball as well. So, I mean, you look at how many yards he has and what he was able to do. This man is a phenom, because not only did he run the ball well, he also was able to catch the ball out of the backfield. And so a big shout out to Jonathan Taylor, number one overall, in my opinion, for fantasy football players this season. My number two is Derrick Henry. I know some people have Christian McCaffrey. Well, I drafted Christian McCaffrey 2 years ago, first overall, and he screwed me over. I drafted him last year, second overall, and he screwed me over. So if it, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So fool me 3 times, no thank you. Derrick Henry is a 2,000-yard type back when healthy, and Derrick Henry is a freaking beast. So I know that last year he had some moments where he wasn't out there, but I think Derrick Henry is the guy. I know that Derrick Henry is the guy that I trust more this season than I would go out there and trust Christian McCaffrey. Fantasy running back in my rankings, Derrick Henry, number 2. Number 3 is Austin Eckler. The man is somewhat timeless in the world of, I shouldn't say somewhat, he is timeless in the world of football, catching out of the backfield as well as carrying the ball. Austin Eckler is going to get some help from rookie running back Isaiah Spiller, who may be taking the ball between tackles this year. So I definitely like what Austin Eckler can do. He jumps to the highest he's ever been on my board, which is number 3 overall, and I'm happy to put him there. My number 4 is Najee Harris. I don't think Najee Harris has been as high as other people have put him, but Najee Harris, again, receiving the ball, running the ball, he has been fantastic. He did it with Ben Roethlisberger. Now you have younger quarterbacks that have a longer time in the NFL, hopefully, probably Kenny Pickett at some point. Najee Harris, listen, with Mitch Trubisky or Kenny Pickett, either one of those guys is going to be a new quarterback for the Steelers, and when in doubt, what do? You throw to your tight ends, you let your running back run the ball. So I think Najee Harris has more than proven himself to catch it out of the backfield and to run it. His numbers are fantastic, so that puts him at number 4. And number 5 for me, this is probably the highest he's ever been on my list too, is Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon, listen, he's ran everybody else out, right? No Giovanni Bernard, no Jeremy Hill. It used to be a 3-headed running back situation. Bernard and Hill used to eat from each other, and now they're both gone. Joe Mixon's eaten by himself, and that is a good sign, plus the fact that they have a fantastic quarterback in Joe Burrow, and they got running back or wide receivers that are more than capable at both ends, with T. Higgins on one side, Jamar Chase on the other. So Joe Mixon, to me, has continued to eat, and I think that he'll have a feast this year as well. Number 6 is Dalvin Cook. Could have put him in my top 5. Another guy that had gotten injured, but when he's healthy, he can be a 2,000-yard back himself. Covered him when he was at Florida State. His younger brother, James Cook, we'll talk about him in a little bit here. But Dalvin Cook, definitely think he deserves to be in the top 10. He's right outside of my top 5. And again, great, you got some good receivers there. You got Kirk Cousins, who's above the equator line, in my opinion. So I think he's going to be all right there. Speaking of Dalvin, number 7 is Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara could be higher on this. He's lower on some other people's boards. But listen, you have Jameis Winston. Taysom Hill is now a tight end on the team, so he'll probably maybe be running wildcat formation stuff. You have Jameis Winston, and you have Andy Dalton. What are you going to do? You have Ian Book, who you drafted out of Notre Dame in recent history. This New Orleans situation isn't great, but running the ball it is, and catching out of the backfield. You still have Mark Ingram. You're going to keep that going again. You had it. You got rid of it. You brought it back. I think Kamara deserves to be in the top 10 at number 7. Number 8, I dropped him to here, Christian McCaffrey. So, listen, I kept him in my top 10 because if he's healthy, he's fantastic. But he's got to stay healthy. And so I'm in a place right now where I don't feel great about him above other people. I think his talent speaks for itself, but I think in the last couple of years we've been talking about the Christian McCaffrey we want, not the Christian McCaffrey that we have. And because of that, I have him dropping down here to number 8. My number 9 is Nick Chubb. Now, Nick Chubb could rise up this a little bit higher. His numbers are good, right? He's got Kareem Hunt, who's apparently potentially asked for a trade, which is a nice, weird situation to be in. Nick Chubb was second only to Jonathan Taylor in yards gained last year. 1,259 on the ground, 228 attempts. So he got to almost 1,300 yards, 500 yards less than Jonathan Taylor on more than 100 less attempts. They both averaged 5.5 yards a carry and 8 touchdowns for Nick Chubb because he shares it with Kareem Hunt. That's why he dips a little bit on this list if Kareem does indeed stay. Number 10, if anybody can get Saquon Barkley to look like Saquon Barkley, it's my dude DeAndre Smith, the running backs coach from the Giants, who's a very good friend of mine. We did the exclusive first interview when he got hired to be the Giants running backs coach. I'm very happy for DeAndre. I think Saquon is one of those guys who's really talented, who we've been waiting to see since he was a rookie. What is he going to be in a healthy year? He's coming off a year where he played 13 games, 593 yards, 162 attempts, 3.7 yards per carry. and he had 3 touchdowns on the season, and that was, 2 rushing touchdowns on the season. So I got Saquon rising up here. Javonte Williams, because they kept Melvin Gordon III, I think this will still be a committee, but I think you're going to see Javonte Williams continue to take over more and more until he takes over completely. So I have Javonte Williams right outside of my top 10 at number 11 in my fantasy running back rankings. Number 12, I have Aaron Jones. I don't know why he's dropped with a lot of people, and even with me, I'm looking at this going, really? I got to drop him out of my top 10? But A.J. Dillon, a guy that I told you about over and over and over again when he was coming out of BC and he was a rookie, I mentioned him numerous times to you, and there's a reason why I did that, and I think that's part of the reason why Aaron Jones is dipping down this chart here with A.J. Dillon. I think the other part of the reason is that they have a drama queen in Aaron Rodgers, and they don't have the wide receivers they used to have, so they may have to lean more on Aaron Jones, and if you send an 8 in the box, that could affect some things. Now, A.J. Dillon's a friggin' wrecking ball, and I think his leg is maybe the width of my entire body, one of his legs. So Aaron Jones dips just outside of the top 10 at number 12, but he's still, within the top 15. Number 13 is James Conner, another guy who doesn't get any respect. They don't have Chase Edmonds anymore with Arizona, the only other guy that I think could have taken the job from him. They got rid of David Johnson, which was a smart move and one of the most lopsided trades in the history of mankind, when DeAndre Hopkins went to Arizona and David Johnson, the running back, went to Houston. So I got James Conner here. James Conner's numbers last year were good. Yes, he got hurt, so he wasn't there for the entire season, but he was there long enough for him to make an impact on the Cardinals and to continue to make an impact on me. Played in 15 of the 17 games, 752 yards, 3.7 yards a carry, carried the ball over 200 times for 202, and he had 15 touchdowns. His 15 touchdowns are only second to Jonathan Taylor, the number 1 overall fantasy draft pick, in my opinion, this season. Damian Harris is the only other one to have 15 touchdowns rushing last year from the Patriots. So I give it up to James Conner right there, number 13. Number 14, I have Leonard Fournette. One of the greatest things that could happen to Leonard Fournette is that he proved himself the last 2 years on one-year deals. He also won a Super Bowl since leaving Jacksonville with Tampa Bay. And what he's done was good enough for them to let go of Ronald Jones II, who they drafted, and to let Leonard Fournette have the majority of the carries. They did draft a rookie, though, and so there is a chance that maybe Leonard Fournette doesn't have all of the carries, but I like Leonard Fournette on his 3-year deal here. Number 15, I'm putting DeAndre Swift. To some people, he's in their top 6. To some people, he's top 5. Some people, he's top 10. I got him coming in at number 15, making my top 15, because I don't believe in the Lions' offense. Now, they did draft Jameson Williams, and he does need to get healthy. And you still have T.J. Hawkinson. But this whole Jared Goff thing, again, just like the Seattle Seahawks, I feel like they kept their quarterback situation in anticipation of going and drafting a quarterback from the 2023 draft that's coming up this year. And I'm not a big fan for giving up a season just to hope that everything works out for you. Not that I'm saying that they're giving up the entire season, but you didn't make the move that, at least the Colts made with Matt Ryan or the Commanders tried to make with Carson Wentz. So I don't like that move, and because of that, DeAndre dips a little bit for me to number 15. I think he's very talented, but another guy that needs to stay healthy. Number 16 is Zeke Elliott. He would have been a top 2, top 3. Some people a number 1 guy, right, in previous years. Not now, because I think that his attitude, his antics, and him staying healthy are all going to be the recipe for non-success as Tony Pollard out of Memphis, who I covered there, continues to get better and fills in pretty nicely for Zeke Elliott every year when something happens with Zeke. Number 17, who I think could jump a few of these guys, but because he's a rookie, I have him dropping a little bit here, is Breece Hall. Breece Hall, the rookie running back, coming to the Jets. Now, I don't want you to forget about Michael Carter, okay? A lot of people are already writing off Michael Carter because Breece Hall was drafted, and I want you to not do that. I don't want you to write off Michael Carter yet. But Breece Hall, in 3 seasons, he's got some really nice numbers here. His first season at Iowa State, he had 897 yards rushing, averaged 4.8 yards a carry. The season after that, 1,572 yards, 5.6 yards a carry. Last year, 1,472, 5.8 yards a carry. So his yards per carry keep coming up. He's been in all 12 regular season games every season. He had 9 touchdowns in his first season at Iowa State. Then he had 21 rushing. Then he had 20 rushing last season. He also catches the ball out of the backfield. First 2 seasons, he had 23 catches apiece, 36 catches last season, and he scored at least 1 receiving touchdown every year, and he's gone up from 1 to 2 to 3 last season. That means his overall yards from scrimmage from 2019 through 2021 are 1149, 1752, and 1774. His numbers keep going up, his averages are going up, and his touchdowns are going up as well. And we look at the fact this man has had 41 rushing touchdowns in the last 2 years, which is insane. Cumulative touchdowns in 2020, he had 23, and then he had 23 last year as well in 2021. So Breece Hall's got to make my top 25, and he did. He makes my top 20 at number 17. Number 18 is David Montgomery. Listen, they tried the Tariq Cohen, David Montgomery thing. I think it's more David Montgomery now. I think having a running quarterback at Justin Fields can help him out to have that quick pitch. So he makes my top 18. Elijah Mitchell comes in at number 19 for me. This is because I don't overly trust the San Francisco 49ers offense. And you don't really know if Trey Lance is going to be the guy all year long. So, and nobody on the San Francisco 49ers running, in the backfield seems to stay healthy these last couple of years, which is why Elijah Mitchell comes in for me at number 19. Number 20 is Antonio Gibson. He's been falling on a lot of draft boards, and I know as well, Dan, there's this guy, and there's that guy, and they might be using that guy, and J.D. McKissick might be this and that. Listen, Antonio Gibson put up some nice numbers last year, and I think that people are so quick to forget about the fact he finished in the top 6 in yards for running backs last year with 1,037. He had 7 rushing touchdowns. He averaged 4 yards a carry. He played in 16 of 17 games, and he attempted over 250 rushes. So he makes my top 20. And then at number 21, I got Travis Etienne Jr. Travis Etienne Jr. is going to join it here. Not to be confused with my guy Rick Etienne, who's drafting in our league. But Travis Etienne Jr., I got him at number 21 overall because I think he's going to be sharing the backfield with James Robinson, and it's still a big question mark. How healthy is he? How good is Travis's body? Hopefully it's great. And how much is James going to be splitting time with him? Because I think for the Jaguars to win, they need them both. And I know for you to win your fantasy, you want to be on a team where there's a dominant guy out there. Number 22, I have Josh Jacobs. He's in a contract year. He's dipped, but he's one of those Alabama running backs that gets the job done, right? Najee Harris has done it. There's guys in recent history that have been able to do a lot of great things. And Josh Jacobs keeps getting written off, and I don't know why, especially in a contract year. He finished in the top 15 last year in yards with 872. He averaged 4 yards a carry, and he was just shy of double-digit touchdowns with 9 rushing touchdowns. Now he's on a team with more weapons for Derek Carr to look to. Josh Jacobs could have a really nice year, and if Kenyon Drake really is off that team and not coming back, it's going to be even better for Josh Jacobs. So I'm really surprised. That's why he makes my top 22, because I don't know why people are forgetting about him, and I don't think that you should. So I got to put him in there. So then you say, Dan, well, where's Miles Sanders? He's the starter in Philadelphia. Yeah, for now, because he's one of those guys that gets injured a lot. So I'm very concerned about his health. I'm concerned about how much we're going to see Clyde Edwards-Helaire, because he hasn't figured it out in Kansas City. So he dips. I think that your dark horses, your sleepers, Chuba Hubbard, right? Because Christian McCaffrey's been injured the last 2 years. So God willing, that doesn't happen again. If it does, Chuba Hubbard, I think Chuba's going to get more time anyways, because I think in order to keep Christian out there, the Panthers have to realize you can't run him 250 times in a season. So I think Chuba Hubbard has value. Michael Carter, who I told you about before, I think he has value. I think James Cook eventually takes over as the dominant running back in Buffalo. So I think James Cook, the rookie, he should be on your list as well. I think Dameon Pierce, the rookie running back in Houston, with really nobody standing in front of him outright, he should be there. And then it's a toss-up still for me, which is why they didn't make my top 22, between Cam Akers and Darrell Henderson Jr., because they still haven't figured out in the Rams who the dominant guy is going to be, and they both get hurt. I think James Robinson, who I mentioned, is another sleeper. I think A.J. Dillon's a sleeper, but people aren't sleeping on him as much right now. And I think Ramondre Stevenson and Damian Harris. Dan, how could you not put a New England guy on there, especially when you mentioned that Damian Harris had 15 touchdowns? Well, because I think they're going to split time, and I don't know how good that offense is going to be. I trust in Bill Belichick. I don't trust in those receivers. And in Mac Jones, I think I trust in him more than other people do. But I think between Ramondre and Damian Harris, they may be splitting that up a little bit more now, which leads them as somewhat of a question mark for me, which puts them as sleepers, which I know will make people go crazy that I said Damian Harris is a sleeper, but I don't trust in that Patriot backfield. They're serviceable. They end the season with good numbers, but when you're leaning on somebody in your backfield, you don't want to lean on a place where you're like, hey, he might be splitting his red zone. Hey, he might be splitting his time out there. Hey, this Ramondre guy was drafted for a reason. So that's why I am where I am when it comes to that. So with that being said, you have our fantasy quarterback rankings, my personal fantasy quarterback rankings, my fantasy running back rankings, and we'll head to the receiving world with fantasy wide receiver and tight end rankings coming up here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life, live from iDrive here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So very excited to be bringing this to you, and I'm very excited to have you here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, as we will take a step aside here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So we're going to take a step aside here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life, as we're going to take a step aside. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout central and upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. As a patient, what do we want? To be cared for, to be listened to, and to have someone walk us through the process on our path to victory. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics does all of those things beautifully, with Dr. Mark Petropoli leading the team on 791 West Genesee Street in Skaneateles, New York, located minutes from beautiful Skaneateles Lake. Whatever your injury may be, from head to toe, preventative care, rehab, physical therapy, laser therapy, and surgery are all available at Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, where they care about us, they listen to us, and they understand that everyone's path to victory is a little bit different. Let them help you on yours by calling 315-685-7544 to make your appointment today. That's 315-685-7544. And find out more information at victorysportsmedicine.com. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios here, and appreciate Cafe Kubal for all the work that they do, and obviously very happy to be here with you inside of Hooters live from iDrive for Hooters Week. Once again, we have Pro Football Preview Week here from Hooters of iDrive, so make sure you come in here. We are here all throughout the week from Monday, August 22nd through Friday, August 26th. For lunchtime. That's from noon to 2 p.m. I want to thank everybody that's come in here today and everybody that's come in throughout the week. Very much appreciate you for being a part of the broadcast where sports meets that thing called life, as we are always happy to be here for Hooters Week down in Orlando, Florida at 8801 International Drive. So live from iDrive here with the Hooters Girls, as well as all of our fantastic guests. And of course today bringing you our fantasy football rankings, my individual fantasy football rankings for quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, as well as tight ends. So I want to thank everyone that's come in and has joined me here at Hooters to bring you the rankings here as you get set for your fantasy football season, and you can put your rankings up to mine and let me know your thoughts. So we've done running backs and quarterbacks. It's now time to jump to the receiving world. So here we go to the fantasy wide receivers of the NFL. My number one still stays as Cooper Kupp. So I do have Cooper Kupp at number one, not Justin Jefferson. I know some people have Justin Jefferson at number two. I think that you can argue Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and Cooper Kupp, but I'm going to keep Cooper Kupp at number one overall. I think if you get any one of these three guys, you're getting a really, really substantial receiver. So my number one is going to be Cooper Kupp, coming to you from the Rams. My number two fantasy wide receiver on the list, Justin Jefferson, coming to you from the Minnesota Vikings. And number three, Jamar Chase. So that's how I have them going 1, 2, and 3. And Jamar Chase coming from the Bengals. All these guys putting up substantial numbers and very, very high quality players here. We look at last season in 2021-22. Seeing what they've done. Cooper Kupp ended the season with 1,947 yards playing in all 17 games. Justin Jefferson, 1,616 was number two, only to Cooper Kupp playing in all 17 games. Jamar Chase is number four, 1,455 in 17 games. Devontae Adams was third with 1,553 in 16 games. And Devontae's my number four, only because of the quarterback change, not because I don't believe in Derek Carr, but there's a difference now going from Aaron Rodgers to Derek Carr. And not that I think that, not that I think that this is a terrible situation for Devontae Adams to be in. I think that it could definitely help out to be in a really good situation. So, I'm excited to see what's going to happen here and excited to see how it's all going to shake out. So, I'm definitely looking forward to it. And I think, again, Devontae Adams, he only goes to number four because the other three guys that finished in the top four in receiving yards were there from last year with their same quarterback that they have going into this year. That's why I have kept it the way that I've kept it here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, live from iDrive for Hooters Week, previewing the college and pro football seasons, and of course bringing you my fantasy football rankings right now. So we have number one, Cooper Kupp, number two, Justin Jefferson, number three, Jamar Chase, number four, Devontae Adams, now with the Raiders. Number five, I have Stephon Diggs. And I could put Stephon Diggs at number four. I know I could do that. I know some of you are out there asking me, my Bills Mafia, why didn't I do that? But I have Stephon Diggs at number five here with the Buffalo Bills. All five of these guys are top-notch guys. You can really argue any one of these guys to be in the top five. So I definitely like them, appreciate them, and I think any one of them, like I said, can be argued within the top 5 of this. I don't see how you go wrong in any one of these. And then number 6 is really where I start to question it a little bit, and that's why he's not in the top 5, and that's Deebo Samuel. Now, Deebo was able to put together a really, really fantastic season last season. And, Deebo ended in the top 5 in receiving yards, and Deebo Samuel last year made history. Believe it or not, no other wide receiver in the history of the NFL has done this. And that is Deebo Samuel last season had over 1,400 yards receiving to go with over 300 yards rushing. And that can never happen for a receiver before. He had 360 yards rushing, which, you get to see 365 yards rushing, as many yards as there are days in the year, to go with 1,405 yards receiving. He had 6 receiving touchdowns to go with 8 rushing touchdowns for 14 overall. So that's why I have Deebo Samuel right outside of this, because of Trey Lance and the Jimmy Garoppolo situation. So that's why he's there. Number 7 is CeeDee Lamb. I dropped CeeDee Lamb a little bit, other than maybe some people that would have put him in the top 4, top 5. And that's because they don't have Amari Cooper anymore, and I want to see how he adjusts to that. Number 7, that's number 7, pardon me. Number 8, I have Mike Evans. I think I could put Mike Evans above CeeDee Lamb, but Mike Evans is a little bit below him because there's Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, and I think will go probably close together, maybe back-to-back in the draft. Once somebody thinks of one, they may think of the other, and I think that'll happen with 2 other receivers I'll be mentioning here soon. So I think Mike Evans goes number 8. Then I think Keenan Allen, right? You got to have a Chargers wide receiver in the top 10. I think Keenan Allen's still the dominant guy there, although I respect Mike Williams. Keenan Allen having a quarterback like Justin Herbert, who you remember, Justin Herbert was in my top 5 for quarterbacks for fantasy. My number 10, I'm going to keep Tyreek Hill. I mean, the man's a phenom, and he brings a lot to the game here. Tyreek Hill definitely brings a lot to it. He is on a new team in Miami. He doesn't have Pat Mahomes. He has Tua Tagovailoa. But the fact that, we're seeing this situation with Tyreek Hill as it unfolds, listen, you can hand him the ball and Tyreek Hill's going to go off with it. You can pitch it to him. You can hand it to him. You can throw it to him. I think that, Tua will find a way to get the ball to Tyreek Hill, and especially under this big contract that he now has there. I think number 11, we go to A.J. Brown. I mean, A.J. Brown is a proven 1,000-yard receiver, and I don't think that you can knock A.J. Brown by any stretch of the imagination. He is on a new team, but I think he'll be serviceable with Jalen Hurts. I think serviceable is an understatement. I think he'll be good to go, so I do like him there. Number 12, I'm going to put T. Higgins at number 12. I think he'll get some time, get some output here. He's definitely got some good work to put in. I'm a little bit concerned because Jamar Chase, and it took away from T. Higgins for sure, and obviously took away T. Higgins from being the number 1 wide receiver with the Cincinnati Bengals. But I still have T. Higgins there. So T. Higgins, he's going to be, for me, at number 12 is where I'm going to have to put him. So T. Higgins is going to be number 12 for me. T. Higgins finished up last season with 1,000 yards, 1,091, despite the fact that they had Jamar Chase there in his first season. He caught over 100 passes, 110 passes, 1,091 yards, and he had 6 touchdowns on the season. So I do, obviously like what he's doing. You got 2,000-yard guys in Cincinnati that found a way to share it. 6 touchdowns for T. Higgins, 13 for Jamar Chase, but both of the guys got over 1,000 yards, so T. Higgins is going to be there. Number 13 is DJ Moore. He's a 1,000-yard receiver for the last 3 seasons. I got to put him up there. Terry McLaurin has played with multiple quarterbacks over the past few years, still found a way to be a 1,000-yard receiver, so he's my number 14. And then at number 15, I got Michael Pittman Jr. He's the number 1 guy. He's the dominant guy. They drafted Alec Pierce, which I'm excited about. Drafted him from Cincinnati. Bearcats had 9 players drafted. I've covered that team for many, many years, so I'm excited about the Colts. But Michael Pittman has the opportunity now as a young receiver to finally maybe have that connection with a quarterback that's going to get him some good yardage. So I like that coming from Michael Pittman. And if we look at Michael Pittman last year, he was still a 1,000-yard receiver with 1,082, right behind T. Higgins, and also had 6 touchdowns like T. Higgins, and had more catches with 129 compared to 110 for T. Higgins. I think after that, I got to put, in this world, I'm going to put Marquise Hollywood Brown, because DeAndre Hopkins is out for a portion of the year. He's suspended. So Marquise Hollywood Brown, coming over from Baltimore, I think has maybe a better situation here with Kyler Murray. So I got him as number 16. And then at number 17, I'm going to have him make my top 20 here, and that's Chris Godwin of the Bucs. I think Chris Godwin's got to make it here. I mean, he's got to stay healthy too, but we've seen that Chris Godwin can make it work by, you know, being out there with Mike Evans. And Chris Godwin is, you know, again, in a situation where he needs to stay healthy. But I think Chris Godwin has actually, you know what? I'm going to actually flip-flop this. Pardon me here. So I'm going to put Jerry Jeudy at number 17, Cortland Sutton at number 18. Then we'll have Chris Godwin at number 19, because I think Russell Wilson ups the stock, like I said before, of both of these Bronco receivers. The stock drops for Seattle, and it rises for Denver. And so I have to have Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton here. I think they're better than people give them credit for. I don't think people give a lot of credit to Cortland Sutton. I call him Hands McGee from my coverage of him at SMU. So I think that both of these guys, their stock goes up. They're top 20 receivers. They got Russell Wilson. I think they would have been top 20 receivers if they had some continuity and some good stuff coming out from the quarterback originally when they came into the NFL. So I like Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton at number 19. From that, at number 20, I'm going to have to go to, number 20 for me is going to have to go to Mike Williams. I'm going to have to give Mike Williams a shot here with the Chargers to put Mike Williams out there. I know on some lists he's squeaking in a little bit higher, but I'm going to put Mike Williams as my number 20 here. So Mike Williams will be here at number 20 again. Justin Herbert is his quarterback. He's found a way to make some hay there, despite the fact that Keenan Allen's going to be there. So I got to put him there. And then, you know, it's a toss-up of a lot of receivers coming out of here and who to put there. I think I got to put Adam Thielen as my number 22. I think I got to put him there. He doesn't get the credit he deserves, and he's another guy that's good, so I got to put him there. And outside of Adam Thielen, I think I'm going to put right ahead of Adam Thielen, I'm going to put Gabe Davis at number 20. Gabe Davis is going to make my top 20. I've been talking about him for a long time out of UCF. I covered him at UCF, and I'm going to have him squeak into my top 25 at number 21. So Gabe Davis at 21, Adam Thielen at number 22. Other guys to look out for, Darnell Mooney in Chicago with Allen Robinson gone. I think another guy to look at is Allen Robinson with the Rams now, and, you know, behind Cooper Kupp. Jalen Waddle in Miami is a guy to look at. Deontay Johnson, based on when Kenny Pickett is out there, how Mitch Trubisky does, what that whole situation is going to look like. That's why he's dipped a little bit here. He still makes my top 30 out of Pittsburgh. Another guy I'm looking at, Drake London out of Orlando, the rookie. Baltimore, Rashad Bateman, now with Hollywood Brown and Miles Boykin both gone. And then I look at Hunter Renfrow, especially in a PPR for the Vegas Raiders. I look at Chase Claypool for Pitt. I look at Treylon Burks in Tennessee as the dominant guy right now. So I definitely look to him. So there's a few guys that could shake out of this. And Devontae Smith for Philadelphia, I would look to him as well. So I know my Chris Godwin pick to some people to put him in this and to drop him in a world where he's in the top 20. Some people might think, why not Gabe Davis? Why not Adam Thielen and some of these other guys I mentioned? Well, it's because Chris Godwin has Tom Brady, and Tom Brady's going to spread the ball around, and Brady doesn't have Gronkowski as of right now, and he doesn't have O.J. Howard. So I think it's really Mike Evans and Chris Godwin to run with this thing. So we're going to take another step aside for a fast break. When we come back here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in Hooters Week, live from iDrive as we preview the college and pro football season coming up here. Very excited to do that on 8801 International Drive. Ashland's going to be joining us as well, our next Hooters girl up here from Hooters of iDrive. I definitely implore you to come out here because we don't just go to Hooters. We go to Hooters iDrive yearly to do our Hooters Week live from iDrive, and you can come see the wonderful girls here as well as the fantastic staff overall on 8801 International Drive in Orlando, Florida, as we are parallel to give you my tight end rankings going into the 12th year of my Wake Up Call Orlando, or from Wake Up Call right after this fast break.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
Hey everyone, it's Sydney from iDrive in Orlando. We can't wait to welcome Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on site at 8801 International Drive in Orlando. Broadcasting live Monday, August 22nd through Friday, August 26th during our lunch each day from noon to 2 p.m. Come see us girls, hear from Dan and his special guests, and preview the college and NFL seasons from the greatest seat for all sporting events. Hooters iDrive in Orlando.
Welcome back here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of Hooters iDrive. Hooters iDrive in Orlando here on 8801 International Drive. Very happy to be here with you for Hooters Week, live from iDrive here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. Papa Joe in spirit with us as he gets ready to head off to Wisconsin. So obviously we hope safe travels for him and Mary T, and God bless you all. We love you very much. So be safe and be well. With that being said, we are live from iDrive for Hooters Week on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and in this broadcast, bringing you our fantasy football rankings. I'm giving you my rankings for the quarterbacks, the running backs, the wide receivers, and the tight ends. So my rankings all the way through 20 plus for each of these positions here, as we've gone 20 plus for quarterback, running back, and wide receiver. If you need us to go farther than that, you can, of course, write into me on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt on the video. You can also write to me on facebook.com/wakeupcalldt and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. I'd be more than happy to help you out here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life, and we'll be happy to bring you the information and give you everything that you need on your quest to win your fantasy football season. So, with that being said, it's time to get into our final portion of our rankings, and that is to get into our tight end position, as we've had the opportunity to bring you our quarterbacks, our running backs, and our wide receivers. Now it's time to bring you our tight ends and give you our thoughts on the world of the tight end here for our rankings on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. And I think it's easy for us to do our number one overall tight end And the number one that we have to put here, of course, is Mr. Travis Kelce. So Travis Kelce is going to make the list here at number one overall, especially now that they don't have Tyreek Hill. You have to look at a situation where Travis Kelce is, and you bring in Juju Smith-Schuster, but he's proven that he is not a number one, right? When he lost Antonio Brown, he didn't step into that number one role. He kind of stayed in this flux of being a number two guy, so he needs some help. So I think Travis Kelce definitely makes my list as the number one. And for number two, I would have to go with a guy that I just drafted in one of my recent drafts in Central New York, and that is Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews has definitely shot up this list. Mark Andrews has been phenomenal. His numbers are great. This guy has gone to work. And to some people, Mark Andrews is number one, right? And I can argue that too, that Mark Andrews could be your number one guy. I can honestly see that happening, and I wouldn't be surprised if he goes number one off the list for some people here in fantasy football. Mark Andrews is a 1,000-yard receiver at the tight end position with a quarterback that some people think can't throw the ball. So I need you to hear that again. Mark Andrews was the top receiver on the team last year for Baltimore, best receiver that they had. He plays tight end, and the guy throwing to him is a guy that some people don't think has an arm. So there's a lot to be said about Lamar Jackson in that. There's a lot to be said about Mark Andrews in that as well. Outside of that, I would say you got to go with Kyle Pitts. Now, I know he has Marcus Mariota, so it's a little bit of a unique situation here. He's got Mariota and then eventually Desmond Ridder. I think within these first couple of years, we'll see Desmond Ridder here as he's a rookie out of Cincinnati now. He's the second quarterback taken off the board. There's only one quarterback taken in the first round, 20th overall, and that's Kenny Pickett, who went to Pittsburgh. But I think Kyle Pitts has to be your number three. I think your number four, I'm going to keep George Kittle here. And this is a dicey situation. The only reason why I have Darren Waller in my top five, but Darren Waller not number four, is that Darren Waller now gains, right? Darren Waller has a situation where now you have Devontae Adams and you have Hunter Renfrow that are going to be out there for you. So Darren Waller at times had to be the guy. A couple seasons ago, he was the guy, despite the fact that he was a tight end. So I got to put Darren Waller here. Another guy that's shot up my board that I have a lot of respect for is Dalton Schultz. I drafted him last year, finally started to show himself for the Dallas Cowboys. So I think Dalton Schultz has to be number 6 on my list here. Really, when you get out of the top 5, it's somewhat of a toss-up, right? Because I feel pretty good about Dalton Schultz at number 6, but then after that, it's where do we go, right? Who do you pick from here? And who do you really lean on in this situation? So I'm going to have Dallas Goedert, who the Dallas Cowboys, I think, were going to draft, but Philadelphia traded to go one pick above them and took Dallas Goedert before you could have Dallas and Dallas. Philadelphia took him. That's dirty, but those are also rivals. So I'm going to have Dallas Goedert at number 7. And then, looking at a couple of these other things here. You look at tight end here wise and by the numbers what some of these guys have done, and Rob Gronkowski, the jury's still out on what Rob Gronkowski is going to be doing, so which I find to be interesting and somewhat funny here, but Rob Gronkowski is still out of this thing, and so at this point we look at number 8, and at our number 8 that we would have to look at here, there's guys like Dawson Knox, there's guys like TJ Hawkinson, there's Zach Ertz, there's Pat Freiermuth, there's Hunter Henry. Zach Ertz has Kyler Murray, and I think there's some good that can come from this with Arizona. I also think, TJ Hawkinson, they still have Jared Goff as their guy, but Jared Goff at the same time, when in doubt, like I said, what do? You run the ball with DeAndre Swift, you throw it to TJ Hawkinson. So there's a couple different places we could go. Dawson Knox would be higher on my list, but they brought in O.J. Howard, and they obviously brought in O.J. Howard for a reason. So I'm going to go ahead at this point, and I'm going to say Zach Ertz at number 8, and then I'm going to have TJ Hawkinson at number 9, and then after that, I might throw you with a curveball here, but I like Pat Fryermuth. And again, another situation with a new quarterback, whoever ends up being the quarterback. You have a new quarterback there with Mitch Trubisky that's going to be potentially taking over as former number 2 overall pick to Chicago, or you have Kenny Pickett, who was chosen number 20 overall in the 2022 draft this year. So I got Pat Fryermuth. I think he's a dark horse sleeper, and I definitely like him a lot. And then next up here on the list, I'd probably have to put Mike Gesicki. I like Mike Gesicki here. And then I would say Hunter Henry at number 12, because he's obviously shown when they spent some money there and they went and got 2 different guys, right, that the Hunter Henry one is the one that has seemingly worked out more for them for New England as opposed to Jonnu Smith that they took from the Tennessee Titans. So I'm going to have Hunter Henry at number 12. At lucky number 13, I'm going to be looking at the situation of a few different teams here, and I think the one that I probably feel best about, because he's going to be the guy there, for right now, is Cole Kmet. And that's going to drop Dawson Knox to number 14. Again, it's not because Dawson Knox is not talented. It's not because he's not good at his job. It's not because I don't believe in him, and it's not because he didn't have a pretty good year last year. It's because Dawson Knox has O.J. Howard now, and there's a reason why Buffalo brought him in. So, and, O.J. Howard obviously was coming from a situation where there was more than one guy, and now he's in a situation where there's more than one guy. So, outside of that, I think that I'd probably put Tyler Higbee in my top 15, just because Tyler Higbee has Matt Stafford. And then really, it's a crapshoot after that, right? Is Evan Engram going to show up in Jacksonville? Is Austin Hooper going to show up on his 3rd team? Now he's with Tennessee. Will Noah Fant do anything in Seattle now that he hasn't done a ton when he was with the Broncos? And it would have been great to see him with Russell Wilson, but he was part of the trade for Russell Wilson. So Russell comes to Denver. Noah goes to Seattle. David Njoku is rising up some people's list to a top 20, but he's never really proven himself in the league, which I'm hoping that he does out of Miami, because I was hoping big things from him when he came out. Irv Smith Jr. in Minnesota, still a question mark. Albert Okwuegbunam, pardon me if I said it wrong, coming from the Denver Broncos, that's a question mark. Logan Thomas staying healthy out of Washington, that's a question mark. Hayden Hurst now at Cincinnati. Cincinnati hasn't had a dominant guy in a while, so that's a question mark. Mo Alley Cox, what's that going to look like with Matt Ryan in Indianapolis? Adam Trotman, is he going to show up here for New Orleans? What's Cameron Brate going to do for Tampa Bay now that there's no Rob Gronkowski and no O.J. Howard? So does Cameron Brate jump up? Is Dan Arnold somewhat of something you got to look at in Jacksonville? C.J. Uzomah, who came from the Bengals now with the Jets, does he have a place here? Kyle Rudolph joins Cameron Brate in Tampa. Does he still have some more life in him? So outside of the top 15, and really outside of the top 6 or so, it's just kind of open season for the tight ends, and that's how I look at the current situation when we're looking at tight end rankings. So once again, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on the day of our 12th season, having our Wake Up Call Orlando League that we draft exclusively here at Hooters iDrive of Orlando. We'll be drafting tonight. On the day of the draft, I brought you my fantasy quarterback rankings, running back rankings, wide receiver rankings, and tight end rankings. And for quarterback, running back, and wide receiver, gave you rankings 20 plus. And for tight end, it's hard outside of the top 15, so I gave you my top 15 here. If you want me to give you my top 32, you can write into me, and I'd be more than happy to do that here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. So I appreciate you being here, appreciate you joining us for this broadcast of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, as we have given you our fantasy football content and gone throughout the league. I want to make sure I mention somebody from every team. So I know I did the AFC East, I know I did the AFC North, I know I did the AFC South, I know I did the AFC West, and I'm looking at the NFC East right now. Gave you somebody from every team there. The NFC North, yeah, we did talk about DeAndre Smith, Justin Fields and company, Aaron Rodgers, and a bunch of the Vikings. For the NFC South, we did talk about Drake London as a sleeper rookie wide receiver. Talked about Kyle Pitts as well as really their number one wide receiver, despite the fact that he plays tight end. And in the wide receiver category, or in receiving yards last year, he was the 3rd highest behind Mark Andrews and Travis Kelce in yards that he was able to attain. So a big shout out to Kyle Pitts. We talked about your New Orleans Saints there with Alvin Kamara. Michael Thomas is a big old question mark. We spoke about the Bucs. And then with the Arizona Cardinals in the NFC West, mentioned Kyler Murray and a bunch of guys, mentioned the Rams, mentioned your Niners. And for the Seahawks, really that's the only team that went unmentioned. So, going through my normal ranker here, I did mention the Seahawks. I didn't mention the guys, but I didn't tell you anybody to draft. My sleeper to draft out of the Seattle Seahawks, if I didn't say him already, is rookie running back Kenneth Walker III, who I covered at Wake Forest, went to Michigan State, and I believe finished last season in all of Division I FBS college football as the second highest in yards attained on the ground. So I think they finally have a running back there. Could help out Rashad Penny. I think Kenneth Walker III definitely should be on your draft board, especially if you need 5, 6, 7 running backs in your fantasy league. He should definitely be there. So I got him on my board as well. So in my coverage of my fantasy football rankings for quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end, I mentioned all 32 NFL teams as promised to give you a full-on preview for fantasy football and the NFL season upcoming to you as we come to you from Hooters iDrive here in Orlando, Florida, live from iDrive for Hooters Week on 8801 International Drive, Orlando, Florida, at this location exclusively. We'll take our final step aside on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and we'll be back momentarily to wrap up today's show where sports truly meets that thing called life. As always, thank you for being a part of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, for being here in the broadcast with us, and for joining us every single Monday through Friday, including joining us this week as we've changed our times from noon to 2 p.m., from 9 to 11 where we typically are, so that we could join you for lunch at Hooters. And I want to thank everybody that's joined us throughout the week at Hooters iDrive of Orlando.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
Hey everyone, it's Sydney from iDrive iDrive in Orlando. We can't wait to welcome Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on site at 8801 International Drive in Orlando. Broadcasting live Monday, August 22nd through Friday, August 26th during our lunch each day from noon to 2 p.m. Come see us, girls, hear from Dan and his special guests, and preview the college and NFL seasons from the greatest seat for all sporting events. Hooters iDrive in Orlando.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, on site on location as we are here for Hooters Week, live from iDrive exclusively at the Hooters on 8801 International Drive in Orlando, Florida, and happy to be here with you where sports truly meets that thing called life. So thank you for being here, hanging out with us. Cannot thank you enough for being a part of the broadcast, and today is going to be getting after it, I think tomorrow. So he's going to be in it very, very soon here, so I want to give him his ample time to do what he's got to do. So we'll have AJ Francis on here sometime soon, and we look forward to being able to do that with him where sports meets that thing called life. But I want to thank AJ Francis for doing what he did. And so what is going on?
We have presents for you.
Okay.
This is to say thank you from Hooters.
Thank you. I did not know this was happening. So, all right. So I guess I'm turning the camera here. Oh, very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming and interviewing us.
Absolutely. Thank you very
We
much.
love having you.
Appreciate it very much. So.
And then these are for...
Those are for the team. So, okay. So we'll be drafting here for fantasy football tonight. That's what we've been talking about today. I had no idea that this was happening. So thank you to everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you to Hooters iDrive of Orlando. So we got to show everybody here now. So thank you to all of the wonderful people
Dan.
here. And make sure you come out here, of course, to 8801 International Drive in Orlando, Florida, and become a part of this. And obviously, draft with your fantasy football team out here, get some great beer, and meet some fantastic people. So thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you all very much. So I had
Can we
no
get a picture with you too?
Yes, you can. So
Let's get a picture holding all the boxes too.
okay. So are you going to sit in still?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to get a picture really quick here. We are live here, folks, on video and audio, but I have to take a picture, so you're going to have to be patient.
You said yes, not boxes. It's just that one family. Okay. They're just doing dessert and then they're doing picture. Maybe open one. Kind of.
I got this. Stealing now, I guess.
Do you need help closing that one, or?
If you want to, yeah, sure. All right, so for those of you that were wondering where the heck we were just taking pictures just now. So Ashlyn's going to join me here. Going to have to figure out your disappearing act again this time. There's nowhere for you to go. There's nowhere for you to go now. So we are here, obviously, Hooters iDrive of Orlando, live from iDrive for Hooters Week. And as always, love being here. We have had a great week of shows. We've been able to do a lot of great stuff. We got a few more days coming up for you. Thursday, August 25th, Friday, August 26th. Thanks to all my people worldwide and in Central and Upstate New York that have ad-libbed with me as we changed our time from noon to 2 p.m. so we could hang out at lunch here. Ashlyn was with me last year, and Ashlyn it was your first week at Hooters.
I'm pretty sure it was my first day.
Yeah. That they were like, yeah, because you came over and I was like, who's talking today? And they said, she is. And I was like, oh, Holly. And you're like, this is my first day here. So you spoke with us on day one. So I can honestly say that Wake Up Call was a part of your Hooters experience.
It was, honestly.
So you and I have connected over the past year, and I gotta build up the friendship, right? I gotta keep roots to North Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna put myself on the hot seat right off the way. What 3 words would you use to describe me?
Ooh, to describe you?
Yeah. I consider you a nice person, so please be gentle.
You're very energetic,
Okay, I'll take that.
very caring.
I will take that. You're 2 for 2.
Like, I know it, but I don't know the word.
Okay. What does it have to do with?
What does charismatic mean?
Charismatic? It means like you can really like talk to anybody and get people to like believe in what you're saying, and you find a way to really just talk to literally anyone from anywhere. So
That's you.
charismatic.
You talk to anyone.
Okay, so charismatic. That's a good thing. Charismatic is not that like you can talk to people, it's that people actually like to talk with you as well. So does that still fit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe. Yeah, it does.
All right. So happy to have Ashlyn here for all of this abuse I'm about to take. So, coming from Carolina, we talked about the fact that mom struggles.
Yes.
So, but mom's been up to visit. Mom shares all the pictures. So, she got to meet the dog. Has she met both dogs now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Mom, by the way.
Yes. Can
You
we shout
forgot
out?
to-
Can we shout out mom officially? Say her name to everybody.
Hello, April.
Big shout out to April, who is back home in North Carolina.
Yep.
Okay.
But yeah, she met both of them now. She came for my birthday, the big 2-1.
The big 2-1.
Oh, yeah. And she loves them.
What did you do for your birthday?
I went drinking around the world.
At Epcot.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, how were you at the end? Were you okay?
Yeah.
Where did
I
you
was
start?
good.
Did you end in Mexico? Or did you start in Mexico? You don't remember?
I think we started in Mexico. Yeah, we started in Mexico.
Which means you
I
ended
wasn't
in,
drunk.
Which means you ended in Canada. So
Yeah, we did end in Canada because they wouldn't give me alcohol.
they wouldn't give you
They were
alcohol?
closing in like a minute, and they were like, "Oh, no," and they shut it.
Oh, that's unfortunate. But you started in Mexico. So you started margaritas probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I ended it downtown.
And you ended it downtown.
Yeah.
Where-
See, that could not tell you anything what happened.
Yeah. Downtown is a scary.
Epcot, I could tell you.
Yeah. Epcot's a safe place to do it. Downtown, I get a little bit nervous about downtown. Were you okay downtown?
Yeah, for the most part.
You handled downtown all right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. Where did you go downtown? Do you remember?
I want to say everywhere.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
I don't remember the night. I'll say that.
Okay. But your mom came in for your birthday?
Yeah.
Did she come drink with you?
Not downtown,
Okay.
but
She
she
came.
was there for my first legal drink.
Okay. So she was there for your first legal drink. Mom came and
She
hung
actually
out.
took a shot with me. I want to say.
Okay.
I feel like she did. Yeah.
Shout out to April. I feel like your mom's like the cool mom, right? The mom that's like she's your mom, but she's also your friend. Am I wrong? Is she more strict than I see?
She's like in the middle.
She's in the middle. Okay. I feel like, but we talked about the Carolinian mothers because when I was working at Disney in 2010, 11, I dated a girl from Princeton, North Carolina, and her parents did not. I was like a damn Yankee to them. You would have thought that there
we
was
don't
still
like
some type of
Northerners.
civil war going on. She had a big old problem with me. I was like, wait a minute. I said, I spent a lot of time in Florida, a lot of time in New York. I like the music and the food and all the stuff down here. I fit into Carolina, but I was never. Her grandfather loved me, but her parents were not having it with me. So how has mom dealt with you? You're still in the South, but how has she dealt with you being away from North Carolina? Because the girl I dated, her parents could not handle her being like 10 minutes away, and she worked down here. So.
So we knew that she was really bad with it in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then she comes to visit later. She actually came to visit later on that month.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah,
so
she
she
did
came
come
then,
early.
and then I went down there in October, or I went up there in October, and then she came down here in April, or I went up again in March, and then she came down in April. And so I've seen her a lot, so it's actually, she's been pretty good with it.
Yeah,
I mean, I still get those, like, if I don't answer her in a day, she's like, what are you doing? Like, she
Are you
texted me the
dead?
other day, and she was like, because I share my location with her,
Yeah.
so if I ever get kidnapped, and
And because she's a mom from North Carolina.
yeah, and so I'm leaving work, and I get home, and she texts me, she was like, where are you? And I'm like, I'm home. She's like, your location says that you're somewhere that's not ever on the path.
Ever on
I'm
the
like,
path.
and she was like, it was stuck there. I thought someone like stole you and took you from your car. And then she was like, what's my middle name? And so I told her, because we have the same middle name. She was like, okay, I was just making sure it was really you.
Wow. So mom is like very, very...
She's a funny woman.
Very protective. Very protective. Is this a new tattoo?
No, I've had this one.
I don't remember that one.
I've had it. I might have been wearing a long sleeve last time.
Okay. Is that the only one?
Oh, I have like 10.
You have 10 tattoos. Do you have a recent one? What is the most recent tattoo?
When was the last time I got a tattoo?
I don't know. Did you get them all in North Carolina?
Mm-mm.
She got some here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think my most recent one is my least favorite.
Okay, why? What is it?
It's ugly.
What is it?
It's not ugly. It's like, it's a saying. I forgot what it says. I
Doesn't
forgot
know.
which leg it's on.
Doesn't know what leg it's on and doesn't know what it says. So maybe we need to get that one lasered.
Oh, wait. It might be on this side. No, it's
you-
definitely on the other foot.
Yeah, you have no idea where it is, do you, Ashley?
Here. It says, so the meaning of it's super cute, but the font you
Yeah.
did, it says strong with the woman, the female. symbol.
Okay, all right.
So it's super cute.
Yeah, but it's your least favorite.
But yeah, because I don't like how he wrote it.
I don't like how he did it. Okay. Well,
Which was my fault because I picked it out, but I just didn't like it on me.
so you didn't like it once you've seen it, which is not like a t-shirt. You can't just remove it and go on with your life.
Yeah.
Are you going to get rid of it or are you going to keep it?
We'll keep it.
You'll keep it.
It's-
Okay.
It's hidden.
You've had 10. Are you going to have more? What's the next one?
I don't know. There's a lot. I want to get some on. Well, first, I want a sleeve.
You want a sleeve?
A sleeve.
You
Can
want
you
a sleeve?
imagine me with a sleeve?
You want a sleeve with your Carolinian self? Is mom going to
yeah.
lose it?
Oh, she would absolutely lose it.
She's going to lose it.
But it keeps her alive.
Those Carolina girl, every Carolina girl I've met, you have little ones in certain places, but never like a boom, like the whole sleeve.
I know, but see,
What are you gonna do? The right side, because that's where the butterfly is.
That's what I was thinking.
Are you cool with that
But-
though? You're gonna start like riding a Harley and stuff. What are you gonna
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Vroom, vroom.
do? Okay.
But I don't know, because my left side's my good side, but then
Okay.
sometimes my right side's my good side. But I'm developing my left side being my good side now because it's I have my dimple on this side, so
Okay.
I'd probably get it on my left side.
You get it on your left side. Do you want to do like a big something and then other stuff? Or are you gonna do like a ton of little things?
I want to do like a patchwork tattoo. I'm
Okay.
stuck between that or like a merge of things.
Okay. I don't have one, but I'm gonna ask you a question. If I got a tattoo, if I did, what would you want me to get? You get to answer these questions because you and I have spent a ton of time talking, so I'm gonna trust that you're gonna be kind about it. Sydney was ruthless. Portia's fine. Portia's great. Jordan was great.
Because I'm
Sydney ripped into me pretty hard, but that's probably because she's a newbie on the show.
No, don't take this the wrong way.
What do
You just strike me as you like Pac-Man.
I don't. I don't like
I feel like you like Pac-Man.
I don't like Pac-Man. In what world would you have me get a Pac-Man tattoo?
I don't know. You just seem like someone who likes Pac-Man.
Why would I like Pac-Man?
Because you're cool. Cool people like Pac-Man, so
Okay.
I guess you're not cool.
Okay. Not Pac-Man. Pick something else. Get away from Pac-Man. Oh my lord. I don't play. I probably play a video game once every 3 years.
Really?
hmm I don't have time. When you're a business owner, you really don't have the time. It's like midnight, and I'm like, go on and play Madden.
I could see like a 4-leaf clover on you.
4-leaf clover. I'm not Irish either. Lord and Mary. So I'm going to tell you what I would do if I had a choice. There's two things I would do. One of the things I wanted to do growing up And then I see it now, and I feel like it's cliche. I just saw a girl at Disney with it, so she had like her own version of it. But I have broad shoulders, and so I like when like my arms come around, that I wouldn't have angel wings go down, I would have them come out. So when my arms moved, and if I was like lifting or something, you would see the wings come like that. So I thought about that, but I've seen that people have them, so whatever. And then the other thing is, because my name is Daniel, and Daniel in the Lion's Den, I was going to put a big lion on my left arm for Daniel Lion's Den, and I was going to have Daniel 10:21, which is my birthday, but it's also a passage in the Bible. So chapter 10, the last verse of chapter 10 is 21, and it says, but no one will stand up, but let it be known in the book of truth, no one will stand up for me except for Michael, your prince. So my name, so Daniel, the book of Daniel, my name in my birthday verse mentions my middle name, Michael.
Really?
So I would have the lion, Daniel 10:21.
That's way more cooler and better than mine.
Yeah. Pac-Man.
I'm not creative, so I was not...
Pac-Man. I thought you were going to be like, I think you would have a dove, which actually, Tortora, my last name, it's the symbol of the dove. So my last name doesn't have a meaning, it just has a symbol. And they're like, your symbol is dove, the sign of love. Found that out in 10th grade, and I said to my religion teacher, I would have used that as a pick-em line everywhere I went if I had known. But I don't, as was learned yesterday's show, I have never, ever purposely used a pick-up line because I only use them as jokes. So, like, if I'm dating somebody, I will do it when she knows me. But if I walked up to a total stranger and I used a pick-up line, I would walk myself away. So I have to ask you this. Okay. What's the worst pick-up line you've ever heard?
I was about to ask you this.
I had some girls say some pretty stupid things to me, but...
I've gotten one that was horrid.
Okay.
Absolutely disgusting.
I want to hear it.
Are you sure? It's rated R.
Are we going to have to go beat them up?
It's rated R.
Say it in my ear before you say it. What is it?
I don't want to say it at all. I cannot say it.
Are you a schoolgirl? Is that what you said?
No, I can't say it. Anyways.
That's bad. That's bad. If that's how it started, are you a schoolgirl? Is that how he started it? Is that really how he started it? Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want to hear it. You can tell me after the show.
Yep.
Ew.
Yep.
Ew. How old was this person? Are you a schoolgirl? That's a weird fantasy that some people have. Live your life. But how old was this gentleman?
I don't know. He was
older.
I didn't know him.
Okay. He just said it to you. Have you ever heard a good one?
I want to say I have, but I have like memory like no one. I don't have a memory at all.
So Jordan told hers, and she said it wasn't that it was a good pickup line, but it's what they did. That somebody came here, took $1 bill, folded it into a mini t-shirt with a collar, and put his name and number. She's like, it didn't work, but it was really hard to do.
Like, I've definitely had some cool and clever ones, but I just can't
think of them.
My mind's going blank.
Yeah, and if you can't say it on the air, that says something about it. So that's fine. We're not going to share that here. We are going to play rapid fire, though. 3 questions apiece. You get 3, I get 3. There's no prior preparation. I have to answer them, but so does Ashlyn. You get to ask me first. We'll go back and forth, so you go first one.
Ooh. If you were an insect, any insect, what would you be?
I don't know why bees are obsessed with me. To the point where I love honey. I'm all about it. But bees like me, my house, everything about me way too much, and it's inappropriate. So I would not be a bee. I would be a ladybug.
A ladybug?
I'd be a ladybug. I'm going to tell you why. Because when
the ones that bite or the ones that don't bite?
The ones that don't bite. Because ladybugs, to me, whenever they land, it's supposed to be a sign of good fortune. And I would want to be bringing cheer and positivity. I would love for somebody to see me land on their car and for them to go, it's going to turn around. So I want to be a pleasant, positive.
That's cute.
Yeah. So I'd be a ladybug.
Nothing
all right.
Like my answer at all.
Now, my first one for you. What would I do, Ashlyn? You got to pick music or movies.
Music.
Okay. All right. 3 songs that you couldn't live without. Don't you dare say girls just want to have fun. I'll kick you off this
No,
broadcast.
but I will say Temperature by Sean Paul.
Okay. Shut up, Bob. All right. Good.
I can't pick just one, so absolutely anything Justin Bieber.
We did talk about how you're a believer.
I
told you I met him, right? I got his autograph. I met him
Yep.
before he signed his contract.
Why'd you have to bring it up again?
I'm sorry. I met him.
Here
I
come
still
the
have
tears.
it. I'll sell it to you. It's worth a lot of money now.
Can I get it for I got like 5 on me.
5,000?
So, and then my last one
Anything
would
Bieber. Okay.
probably have to be Shots by LMFAO.
LMFAO. Okay. All right. I can go with that. I like all of that. Your music, I can live in your music world. What's your second one? For me. Second question.
Oh,
I stumped you by asking you what your question was for me.
gosh. I just don't have like a mind of creativity.
You're always creative. You got to have something. Thank you. I love that.
How's it going?
Very good. How are you?
If you could eat one thing for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh my gosh. That could be a terrible pickup line too. So I would say that would be a total jerk if he had a pickup line like that. Could you imagine?
What do you mean?
If a guy asked that whatever. It went over your head. We're not going to talk about it. So if I could only eat one thing for the rest of my life, it'd probably be pizza. I love pizza.
Pizza.
I
Oh,
love
you
pizza.
can get it any kind of way too.
That's the thing. You could put anything on it, and I make homemade pizza. So,
Cool.
so I would do
Homemade pizza's
pizza. I'd definitely do some pizza. All right, my second one for you. If you had to live in one place for the rest of your life, where would you live and why? Let's make mom upset. No, I'm kidding. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. Talked about where you would want to live off the air.
I don't know, because I just want to pack up my stuff
Uh-huh.
and just get a little island
Okay.
and just make my own like village.
Just want to be by yourself.
Yeah.
Will you bring
well,
people
with my
with you?
little village, with like
with
my
your
people.
little with your people.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And the dogs and
Yeah.
all the jazz.
Can we talk about the fact? So you have 2 dogs. They're massive. If they stood straight up, they're probably as tall as you. Describe to me these dogs. You found out that they're not what you thought they were,
Correct.
and they're from the same litter, even though you got them at different times.
Yes.
So they are technically brother and sister. Are they brother? Yeah.
They're litter mates.
Yep. Okay.
So they're blood related.
Yes.
So
Their names are, and what type of dogs are they? For those that don't know.
they're Whiskey and Kahlua. That's their names. I thought
No,
they.
that's how they were made. With whiskey and Kahlua.
I thought they were Catahoula mix.
Uh-huh.
Turns out they're a pit lab mix with a boxer and chow chow and absolutely no Catahoula. But they look like a Catahoula.
Yeah. So
That's the story of W and K.
So you have a different. Are you okay with the fact that they're not what you thought they were?
Oh yeah, I love pit bulls. Pit bulls have always been like my top favorite dog breed.
Between whiskey and Kahlua, who's your favorite?
I knew you were about to ask this, and I'm not answering.
Who's your favorite?
I can't. You expect me to pick?
Yeah, if you could only have to, if you had to choose one. You can't.
No, I know I can't.
Okay, so when you're sleeping in bed, who sleeps closer to you, whiskey or Kahlua?
Well, Kahlua sleeps. Kahlua sleeps anywhere, honestly, but Whiskey's probably always on his bed, right next to my bed, on my side.
Okay, so whiskey sleeps closer to you.
Whiskey's more of a mama's boy, and Kahlua is more like a daddy's girl.
Okay, all right. Would you allow them to both sleep in bed with you guys?
Oh yeah,
How does it?
I'm one of those people.
Does it fit? See, I'll let any dog sleep. If it's my dog, 10 pounds, 100 pounds, I don't care. But Lily, being the 10 pounds she is, will stretch and she'll get right up against you. So
Oh,
my
yeah.
parents, when they stay with her, they're like, your dog takes half the bed and she's 10 pounds. I was like, I know my girl. But she does. My mom, I asked my mom today, she's watching her. I said, how's Lily doing? She goes, she's been bad for 2 days. I said, describe bad. She goes, she does whatever she wants. And I said, well, because she knows that she doesn't get away with it with me, she's going to do it at Grandma's house. With me, I just look at her. So she's been trained by me to follow me, better than she follows other people. My mom also yells at her all the time for no reason because my mom needs to know where she is. I'm like, she's a dog. She's going to not be in your sight probably half the day.
Yeah.
So, what's your last one for me? Whiskey and Kahlua. I like those names.
Yeah.
I love seeing the pictures. Just like those big faces.
They're so cute.
Yeah. Are they playful? Do they like give you kisses? Are they jumping on you guys? Or okay.
They're so energetic, so
Okay.
loving. Whenever you see them,
So they're not like scary.
no.
Okay.
So like when you walk into the apartment after like getting home from work or something, or even just running up the street to the store, Kahlua goes on her crate because she is a menace,
Okay.
and Whiskey stays out.
Okay.
But
That's your favorite.
why'd you gotta point it out?
What is your favorite?
But and no matter how long you're gone, it could be 5 minutes, 5 seconds, you walk in that door and Whiskey acts like he's never seen you in his life. Like he's so excited to see you. He's all jumping up. He screams sometimes.
Okay.
Like when he's yawning, he'll like, ah! I think it's because he's yawning, but I like to say it's because he's excited to see me.
I like
As
it.
he should be.
And what does Kahlua do? She's like, whatever, I'm in this kennel, you
Oh
jerk.
no, she's just like the same way in her
She's
crate.
excited?
But like
Okay.
when you let her out, she'll come and be like, oh my god, hello.
Okay.
She's
fair
the
enough.
sweeter one out of the two of them. She's more loving, like cuddly.
Okay.
He's just kind of like, don't touch me, don't look at me, but you can pet me, but don't get too close.
Okay. All right. So he's the cat of the family. What's your last question? Make mom proud. It's rapid fire. Gotta be quick.
There's nothing going on in here right now.
Oh, come on, Ashley.
If you could be stranded on the island with only one celebrity for a month, which celebrity would you choose?
If he was alive, I'd choose Robin Williams. But since he's up in heaven, God bless you, he's like an uncle to me. When he passed away, I cried more than I cried about my uncle because my uncle was not close to me. And I mean, I do comedy, and I grew up on Robin Williams when I was like 4. So if it wasn't Robin, it was somebody right now. That's tough, man. If I'm on an island, I'd probably go Dave Chappelle or George Lopez.
Oh, George Lopez.
I gotta hang with a comedian, and I like George, and I will do Spanglish. I'll say things in English and Spanish. So I do I like that. And growing up thinking I was 100% Italian, and finding out at the age of 14 that we had Hispanic blood, that meant a lot to me. And then hearing how George talks about his mom, and my mom doesn't have the Hispanic blood, but Italian and Spanish moms are very similar. And so the way he describes his mom, I'm like, Mom, you did all of those things to me. So I do probably George or Dave Chappelle. So my last one for you. Okay. There's a lot of questions I could ask you to put you on the spot.
Oh gosh.
What should I say? Okay, all right. This is what I'm going to do. You and I are going to be in a movie. We're in the next feature film. Orlando, Florida is the place. They just cast. They came into Hooters. They said, we love both you guys. You're going to be in the movie. What movie are we in, and what are we doing? Pick a movie world.
I told you I wasn't creative.
Pick a movie world. There's got to be something you like. Don't put me in The Real Housewives. I'll step off this show in a millisecond. You don't watch that show, do you?
No.
Okay, good.
But I watched Kardashians.
We're not going to talk about that. Put us in a movie world. Any movie world. What are we
Does it
going
have
to
to be
do?
like a movie that's now, or like just like
Anytime.
a plot of a movie?
Plot of a movie. Anything.
Okay. See, I'm a big horror girl.
You all are from here. You know that, right? You all love horror. Sydney, Portia, you all said horror.
Really?
Yes. So you're a horror girl. Okay.
I am.
So we're going to be in a horror flick. What's it about? And what are we doing in this movie? Don't let me die first. Don't you dare let me die. I'm not going down to the basement by myself.
So what we're doing is it's Halloween because it always has to be Halloween.
Okay. 10 days after my birthday.
And we're at Halloween Horror Nights.
Okay.
We're at like one of the scary amusements, like the scary haunted houses.
Okay. Look at your creative self go.
And the actors in the haunted house are not actors for the haunted house.
And what's the haunted house based on?
They're actually gonna chase when they chase you with the chainsaws.
They're gonna be chasing
It's
us
gonna
with
be
chainsaws.
chainsaws. Everything's gonna be so legit, but you're walking into the haunted house thinking that it's like what it usually is, like a
So
fun
are
thing
we
to do. But
innocent
it's legit.
bystanders, or are we the heroes of the movie?
Oh, we're innocent bystanders. But I can be like one of the cops that
We're trying to stay alive
I.
the whole time. Okay, all right.
But then, like in the end, I guess we could have like 2 characters, and then we could be the heroes in the end.
Okay, all right. So in the end, they find out that we actually know what they're doing. So that's all right. I like that. We're going to Halloween Horror Nights. We go into a room. We think it's fake. It's not fake, and we have to save people. I like it. That could actually happen, which is why I don't go to stuff like that. Because I'm always nervous that somebody in there snuck in there, put a costume on, and they're real.
See, that's what I think too. But I'm a big believer of just going with the flow.
If you're
If
meant
it
to get chased
happens,
with a
let
real
it be.
chainsaw, let it be.
Like, don't
So-
force something. If you were meant to get chased, don't force not.
Okay.
Make sense?
Stay alive is also another good thing to do. So
Or
now you're
stay dangerous.
You could do that, which is actually the tagline for Darkwing Duck, an amazing Disney character that most people forget about.
Really? That's what the girl who works here, her like punchline, catchphrase, whatever it's called, is stay dangerous.
Who is that?
Danny, she's new.
Danny, stay
New,
dangerous.
newer.
So
Hashtag stay dangerous to be exact.
the guy who voiced Darkwing Duck, he wrote on the Darkwing Duck thing that I have, stay dangerous.
Really?
Yes. So because some copyright TM issues there, I guess. But shout out to Danny. So with that being said, Ashlyn, thank you as always. I don't know how you're going to find your way to exit, but
I'm trying to think of one right now as we speak.
you have an opportunity to exit now. But we're backed up to the wall, so I don't know what type of magician she can be today. There's wires and stuff. I don't know what you could do. I don't know what you're going to do. I'll keep talking, saying we're so happy we had Ashlyn here, as she slowly, like a 100-year-old person, moves off the... There she is. All right. So it was slow and then creepy. Is the finger coming back in? Oh, the phone. Okay. We didn't see it. You're okay. You're okay. We're maybe going to see it. There we go. So that's like the hand from Addams Family. If you've ever seen Addams Family, right? The thing.
Yeah.
Thing had the hand. All right. So you left as thing, which I appreciate. Thank you, Ashlyn. So with that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, inside of Hooters iDrive Orlando, live from iDrive. It is Hooters Week. We got 2 awesome shows coming up for you this Thursday, August 25th. Jason Lucas is joining me from inside of the front office of professional sports teams as well as in the media. And then on Friday, we wrap up the show with another Syracuse connection that connects to Florida and Syracuse, New York, and that is going to be my guy Nate Trout, who is responsible for being a mentor of the Merritt Island kicker, who is now at Syracuse University, Brady Denneberg, who's in his first season there, and I just saw him up north. And of course, Nate Trout, one of the greatest kickers in the history of Syracuse football, will be joining me on Friday, August 26th. So we want to thank you for watching and listening on YouTube.com, Facebook.com, and MixLR.com, all /WakeUpCallDT. Also want to thank you for being on Facebook.com /live now DT. So a big old thanks to you for that as well. And of course, once the shows go live, you can check them in the archives by searching Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT, on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes and Apple Podcasts, MixLR, Player FM, Podbean, Podvine, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, and YouTube, as well as asking Alexa and your Google Home device to play the latest episode of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We want to thank our Central and Upstate New York partners and beyond: Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, Wildcat Sports Pub, PB&J's Lunchbox, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Avicoli's, Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, the Millhouse Market, Honda City of Liverpool, Pizza Man, Witty Wicks, Chick-fil-A Cicero, and Chick-fil-A Clay, Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, and Mother's Cupboard. And of course, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins. It is Fins Up every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, bringing you our Dolphins every Wednesday during Dolphin time at 9 a.m. Eastern time. The Dolphins come to you with AD and DT, airing every first and third Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time of each month. And that is Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora, with exclusive specials, including not only the first place that you heard about, realignment and reclassification potentially happening for Lemoyne, but also the exclusive place for all of your updates on that. You could check out all of that content, and every second and fourth Wednesday, including this week, we have the Dolphin Dive with student athletes, coaches, as well as administration, future Dolphins, and alumni. We just had this morning Tom Bonus, the Lemoyne men's soccer head coach, coming off a preseason retreat to help his team get close in a very special way. You can see all of that content by going to the Lemoyne tab on wakeupcalldt.com, by joining us on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, click subscribe, and of course, for more information on your Dolphins, go to LeMoyneDolphins.com. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is also the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Marywood University Pacers. Very happy to be here with you on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. So definitely appreciate being here with you with your Marywood University Pacers. You can check out your Pacers every single Friday around 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, where sports meets that thing called life. The Pacers will be here with us this Friday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, as well as you'll have the opportunity to hang out with the new Pacers men's lacrosse head coach, Justin Patterson, in his exclusive first interview since taking the job. And you can check out all the Marywood content Fridays at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time on the live feed, as well as by going to the Marywood tab on wakeupcalldt.com and by subscribing to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. For more information on your Pacers, go to marywoodpacers.com. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is also the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse. The Bobcat Buzz comes to you every single month with student athletes, coaches, and administration. We got plenty coming up with the Bobcats when I find my way back up north to Syracuse, so make sure you stay close and stay tuned. You can get to know all of our Bobcat content by going to the BSCSYR tab on wakeupcalldt.com. You can also check us out on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, subscribe and search the Bobcat Buzz on our Wake Up Call DT YouTube channel. And for more information on your Bobcats, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. Under promise, over deliver. That's what we're about on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, bringing you almost 3 hours on every day of the week that we've been here for Hooters Week Live from iDrive, promising you 12 to 2 and going till almost 3 on every single one of those days. We got Jason Lucas tomorrow, and on Friday, Nate Trout. Come out and see us for lunchtime, noon to 2 p.m. Come see the Hooters Girls. Grab a drink. Of course, always drink responsibly. Get some fantastic food and have a great time with the incredible girls. I want to thank Portia as well as Ashlyn for being a part of today's show. I want to thank you for being a part of it, and I can't wait to talk with you soon. We'll be drafting here tonight in our 12th year of our Wake Up Call Fantasy Football League for Orlando. And in the meantime, as always, find us on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, and Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. God bless. No stress. Do your best.